me.
Okay, we have Dana Kipple here, right here, live and direct. I'm kind of excited to talk to you because I don't know, you're just doing made big things online and stuff. And we
Thank
started this at 1:11. Well, on my time, it
you.
changed.
Me, it's 4:11, but that's okay. It's a good number too.
It's 111 over here.
Yeah, we'll just
Okay.
say it's 111.
Um, so Dana Kipple here is
Yeah.
I want to go down all your accolades because you're
Oh
a
God.
polymath,
Yeah.
author, filmmaker, speaker, metaphysician,
Hmm.
optimistic futurist,
Yes.
and actor. That's a lot. That's a lot of slashes.
It is. But I have to have them all because they're all me and I can't do one.
So let me ask you, how did you, well, did I get all this right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The poly just so because everyone's
Polymath. Uh,
everyone's always like, what the heck is a polymath? A polymath is literally just someone who is good at multiple things.
yeah.
And I mean, they used to call like geniuses polymaths, but I think a polymath is just someone who's in touch with their soul because you reach a higher place. You go
Mhm.
beyond logic. So I mean, you're a polymath. We're all polymaths. We all could be polymaths. So it's not like I'm this like high and mighty polymath.
Well, I called myself a polymath one time only because I always thought it was somebody with multiple interests and interested in
Oh,
learning multiple things.
I think it
But then
is.
my friend criticized me. He was saying he's polymath. I was like, because I think people are like related to being calling yourself a genius or something,
Yeah, they do.
and
But
I
it's
was
okay.
not doing that.
But like it is though, because a genius, the word for genius was daimon, Daimon, or your inner, that meant your inner genius. And it was really just your
Mm.
your inner soul. It's in the book Dark Materials. They call the little animals next to them their daimons. But it's really just your like plasma soul. So when you're in touch with it, you're a genius.
Oh, see,
Because you have a high perspective.
I'm gonna absorb that.
Yeah, you should. Everyone should.
Now, I wanted to talk about you also wrote a book on plasma, which
Yeah.
I have to admit, like I had never, it's called A New Force. And then you show it. It's called A New Force.
Yes.
Wait, show it again.
Oh, a new force, plasma consciousness, and the new human potential. And it is like 700 pages long. This
Wow.
is the black and white copy. There's a color version too, but Amazon costs so much money to print color that that one's probably going to be a collector's item. But this is 39.99, which I think is pretty affordable for a book that's like very big. So I try to make
Right.
it affordable for a very big book.
It's so cool. Okay, so tell me about your journey, because
Mhm.
how did you acquire this information, absorb this information, and in layman's terms,
Yeah, yeah.
or
I feel like
however you want.
yeah, no, I feel like I could say everything in layman's terms because I'm also a layman. So I'm a perfect bridge. But so I obviously I have a crazy life story. I'm happy to get into anything, but as far as getting the idea or co-creation for this book, 5 years ago or so when I started transcendental meditation, I had a long life. I dealt with addiction and trauma, and I got sober when I was like 21, and went to AA for a bit. I don't go now, but still I don't, use drugs or drink or anything, and or smoke pot 'cause would get very paranoid. And sorry, I overshare. And
Wait, you do smoke pot or you don't
no,
smoke?
no, no. I would get so paranoid.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it though. Like I would, I just really can't. So
Right,
that
right, right.
but so I was going through my other addiction that is no longer an addiction, which was having boyfriends. And I've had like a bunch of long-term boyfriends. And I was going through a very hard, this will make sense. I was going through a very hard heartbreak. I found
Mm.
out my boyfriend, had betrayed me. And for some reason, it like, because I really trusted him, it's a very human thing. This is a very human story. It broke my heart, but all the grief of like every betrayal, like from parents, from loved ones when I was younger, not feeling safe, all these things, all of that rushed back. And that had never happened to me, like so much I suppressed. So in order to feel better, I started, I couldn't do drugs, I couldn't drink. I started meditating. And when I started meditating about the third or fourth time, I just all of a sudden started to think it rushed in my mind, or I just knew I had this like gnosis. Plasma is intelligent. It is sentient. It is not conscious, but it's sentient. It's alive, and it's the vehicle for consciousness. And then I saw an infinity symbol. I don't know if I saw the infinity symbol first or thought that first, but then all of a sudden this all happened one day. I was like, I'm gonna write a book called A New Force about plasma. And I even like constructed like a fake book cover of what it would be like 5 years ago. And then I didn't start writing this until this December. So it took me 9 months to actually write and finish. But yeah, I've had the idea for 5 years. And yeah, it just came. It's so hard to explain, but it came like a thought block and dropped in. And I was like, I just knew I was meant to do that. And I just knew all these things. It's not like I embodied all those things, but I just knew all these. I knew all these things, but when I say no, we all know things. Truth is relative. So I want to make that clear. I'm one perspective.
All
Yeah.
right. I think
Yeah.
it's very interesting that you sort of had the thought instantaneously.
hmm
It was like it's like a pregnancy, and then you took 9 months to deliver it.
Oh my God, yes, that's actually a really good point and a great hook for me selling it. No, but it really it is like the size of a baby, and that's and that's an amazing, yeah, and it's a new force, right? Yeah.
Mm.
And something else you just said made me think, you can keep going. I forgot already.
I was saying instantaneous, like the pregnancy, it was like boom, it was like a spark. Um,
Yes, it was instantaneous, and it was, yeah, it was just like I knew all these things at once, but it took so long to get from here and this expansion and how I think things are maybe non-locally with consciousness to
mhm.
siphon it through my brain and have it actually make human words. And then I didn't even human words, but connect plasma to science, from metaphysics to science, and be able to bridge it. So when people read this book, they understand and it makes sense. But yeah, I had never studied plasma in my life. So it's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where do you think that information comes from? Like when because because I'm in comedy and acting,
Yeah.
and sometimes I've done stuff
Yeah.
like for say for instance improv,
Yeah.
and then
I love
it's
improv.
hilariously funny, and then I was like, sometimes I think, where did that come from? I'm not that funny. Like
Well,
who did
yeah.
that?
It's your multidimensional self. And it's so funny because you'll probably love this book. That's who kind of takes over. And I mean, it's just you. It's you creating with your multidimensional self. So the last chapter of my book is called The Divine Child, and it's all about bringing our multidimensional selves back to this reality and really integrating it with our body. And all our multidimensional self wants to do, or our higher self, is have fun and experiment. And, there's obviously discernment with that. And, it's not just full blown, what's the word, hedonism, but it wants us to like be able to make mistakes and not be hard on ourselves. And I think where these originate from, these ideas, it's kind of complicated, but it's like a fifth dimensional space. And that is where all our higher selves or multidimensional selves are. And, where it's almost like plasma is like in the middle, this fourth dimensional plasma. And then there's like you and your higher self. And when you're in harmony with this plasma, it's way easier to hold its hand and kind of co-create this reality with it, if that makes sense. Because
Yeah.
I feel the same way. Like sometimes when I look at this book, I'm like, I did not write that. The way I talk
Right,
here
right.
and in the book is way different. In the book, I sound way smarter.
Yeah, well, I mean, we all code switch
Yeah.
intellectually.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's what you said with the comedy too. It's like I feel like my multidimensional self wrote this book. Like obviously I was there, I was present. I let it filter through me, but the
Mhm.
idea came from that realm. I think Plato called it like the realm of perfect forms or the realm of ideas, but it came from that fifth dimensional space. And the funny thing I kind of have an intuition about too is it wasn't fully formed ever. It was kind of like planted in me and then meant to grow in our reality so we could create emergent realities. Like it was kind of like a seed that was never fully formed. It's like a paradox, and I was meant to co-create and bring it into this reality so we could realize that we're not in like a deterministic universe, that we have free will.
It keeps sounding more and more like you got impregnated.
I did. Just
Because it
not
was
by
like there was the egg was always there, and then it.
it. It really felt like that. Yeah, I was impregnated by consciousness and
Mm.
it came out. Now it's a book.
Well, I want to double back
Yes.
because you said you had addiction. You talked about like your
Yeah.
addictions and so you had like a metamorphosis. You had like a
hmm
shift.
hmm
And
A
what do
few.
you think those experiences before, how did were there a catalyst or how did they help
Mhm.
you? And you also said that you had another addictions, which was relationships,
Boyfriend. Yeah.
boyfriend addictions. That's which I heard can be worse than crack.
Yes, it is. I kept doing that 10 years after I stopped drinking.
So was that a replacement for what do you, how did
Yeah,
that
what was
tie
I?
into the addictions?
Yeah, sure. So I was adopted when I was young. So I think from a very, obviously very young age, I was kind of ripped from just a connect, like that warmth and connection.
Hmm.
And even before that, when I was born, I almost died and I was put in a different room, I think for 2 or 3 days. So I never got to be held by my birth mom. Before she gave me away, she did get to hold me once. But still, when you put a baby in a room right away and not in their mother's arms, obviously they were worried about my health. But I did a regression with my therapist, and I know you're not supposed to have memory, but if memory's non-local, you can have memory from that age. I have memory from past lives as well. And I remember being in just this cold, dark room, and it's not like I see visuals, but I remember feeling so disconnected. So I just, and then, I get adopted, and my parents did the best they could. But I had issues with them and was very badly bullied. I was molested by my gymnastics teacher for like 4 years and he went to jail. And then, I got into I never felt safe at home. And then I got into a drug addiction when I was 14 and then had that until 21 off and on. So I just felt like I was always trying to fill like a lot of things happened where I felt very disconnected from myself and shame and it was almost like I had to shut off my intuition because if I believed what was happening to me, I think I would have like crumbled and disintegrated. Like it was too much for someone, too many. And it's crazy because from the outside it looked like I was a perfectly normal child. Like most people wouldn't know these things were going on. And then when I got sober finally, I tried once at 16 and then again at 21. And then I still relapsed after rehab and then got sober on my own because of something that happened. And after I got sober, I still felt this hole in me. Like, yeah, I was going to AA. I didn't even believe in a higher power, but I pretended to because you're supposed to. And yeah, I just felt empty and like I needed someone to exist. I never felt like I could exist on my own. And I always had this thought in my head like I wasn't supposed to be here. So then I attached myself to friends or boyfriends. I was just super codependent. And then it took all the way up until I was like 31 and was very heartbroken by like the first guy I trusted because the ones before that I like knew I couldn't trust and I was just, dating bad guys. But the first one I thought wouldn't hurt me actually did worse than anyone, just by a couple things that happened. And that was like a wake up call. I was like, there's something really wrong with me because it's not all these guys. Like, yes, it's them, but it's me picking them. And I'm clearly trying to fill something. And the fact that I can't live without this guy who just did really bad things to me and I stay with him another few years. Not really bad things, but like emotional cheating and cheating to me is bad because you just don't do that in relationships. So, um, and like lying and stuff. So um, Sorry, I just blacked out. So I decided to start therapy and meditating, and then I started the journey
Mhm.
of self-love. And that's all my intention was to feel better and meet who I really am. So I felt like I existed in this world, that I didn't need to go to a friend's house to exist, that I could not hang out with someone for 3 days and not feel like the world forgot me. And then the idea for the book came into my head and the plasma stuff came in, and that plasma was a mirror to turn me back to myself. And when I connected with this plasma, which we're always connected with, this divine feminine source, it showed me myself and my own love and connected me back with my multidimensional self. And I just think it's like so beautiful because in a lot of spirituality, we can bypass and use it as a ascending ourselves and never really look at any of like our human issues. And plasma to me, and this is why I made the book, it's a perfect mirror to connect you back to yourself. And I can go more into that. But anyway, that was kind of like a short story about some of stuff.
Oh yeah, because I was asking like how you felt like those
The addictions. Yeah,
addictions.
what did you even ask? Now I just went off
No,
tangent.
I love it. I love it. I was like, because you filled it in. No, but
Filling a hole.
yes, and then I was kind of wondering because you said you were adopted, and so
Yeah,
I'm sorry, when your birth month they put you in a room because they thought you were gonna die, and so you never
when
got to really hug or hold your
I was born. Yeah.
mom. So you, do you think you were always chasing that need for
Warm.
connection and love and warmth, like
Yeah.
the rest of your that you were trying to find that in your relationships, you think?
Yeah, I was 100% trying to find it in my relationships. And here's the thing, and my therapist really helped me with this, and hopefully this will help other people, is
Mm-hmm.
you have to grieve the fact that you'll never get it. Because even though I thank God know my birth mom now, some people never get to meet their birth moms. As much as I love her, we don't see each other that much. And even my mom, like my mom and me have a very unique relationship. I love her too, but I'll never have what I want from her. And, me and her have had discussions about that. And I'll always be searching for that warmth outside of me if I depend on them for it because they're older with lives. I'm not a child anymore. So for me, it was about grieving the fact that I just never had it, like when I needed it. Of course, at times I did, Mom. Sorry, but a lot of times. And
Okay, she's not a subscriber.
yeah, she won't see this,
She
but still,
won't
I feel
hear this.
bad. No, she won't. She doesn't even. We won't even read my book, but it's okay. She supports me in other ways, and I think I had to just be okay with the fact that like my mom might never understand me. I might never have that warm ooey gooey relationship with my birth mom. That warm love, right? Those hugs and night talks and like asking for advice with like boys or clothes. Like I never had those things actually, and I had to learn that I had to do that for myself. So the past 4 years, I've been learning to like make myself safe, to love myself, to show up for myself, to like reparent myself, and know that I don't need to search for it because I can have it within me because I'm an adult, not a child. So yeah, I've kind of had to like grow up in that way. Because yeah, every boyfriend I dated was like my mom, which is really weird and screwed up to say.
But a lot of people say that, like some people date their dads
Yeah.
or the moms or
Yeah. I think it might be a red flag now that I've noticed my patterns.
how has that helped you now? Are you making
Mhm.
better choices? Not to give
Yes,
you
yes,
advice.
thank God. And I mean, of course, I'm a work in progress. So, like, my choices are just the fact that I haven't dated in 2 years, but that's really not by my choice. Like, in the beginning, I tried to date guys who, like, I thought were cute, but I still hadn't really worked on that stuff. And I got rejected a lot. And I was like, what is wrong? But I think the universe was literally protecting me because I never would have finished my book if I was wrapped up in that. And it really forced me to keep looking at myself and going in therapy and changing things. Yes, now I'm at the point, just because I'm moving, I haven't started dating yet, but when I move to Portland, I will. Hello, Portland. I'm just kidding. But what I'm looking for now in dating, is like someone who can also has ambition in their own life, someone who is trustworthy and loyal, and someone who I can go slow with, not move in after like one date and like I don't, not looking for like a bad boy or like a guy 10 years younger than me, which I was always doing. So just taking my time with things and letting people show them and reveal themselves to me because I used to date projections of what I wanted, like fantasies, and I didn't look at the reality of what that guy was telling me. Like my as much as like I could say it was my boyfriend's fault for all the cheating and stuff, from day one, he let me know who he was, and I didn't want to see that. And I thought I could change him because I loved him a lot, and that's just not how life works.
Your love is powerful enough to change people. That's what
Yeah,
people think.
that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
that's so interesting. Wow.
Mhm.
So it sounds like you have a lot of clarity. But I want
Yeah,
to go back to something you said. You said like you felt like the universe was trying to show you,
protect.
you know, you said was trying to say you weren't ready or something or
I think it was just. this is so crazy. Like, there's no other reason. So there's a saying, Jamie Kern Lima says she wrote this book called Worthy, which I'm obsessed with. It's a great book if you don't have a lot of self-worth. And she said in the book, rejection is protection.
Mm,
And I really truly believe that. And I believe in a God, but maybe I wouldn't say it's a man in the sky. Like I think it's like this fifth dimensional emergent energy of like all our higher selves working together. And like we kind of co-create with that to create like a new future. But whatever that energy is, and wherever my multidimensional self is in that, when I tried to date, like actually, he was a comedian actually. I'm not going to say his name. I tried to date and by the way, trying to date him means that I met him once and thought that he would be my boyfriend, and then he never wanted to hang out with me. But I like made this thing in my head
you
about
had a
how great he was.
backstory
Yeah,
for
I
him.
made my thing in my head about how great he was, like a crazy person. And then anyway. Where was I going with that? I was word vomiting. Um, rejection is protection. So I was like, oh my God, he never answered me. Like this makes no sense because we had such a good like connection when we spoke at that party. And there were a couple other things like that, just guys I met on dating apps that I never got to meet in person. And I really, for a second, thought something was wrong with me. And then I started realizing that it wasn't that. It was the fact that I was still going after that same kind of charming guy without knowing anything about him. So
Right.
that I think the universe was just protecting me because if I fell into that, I don't think I would have worked on myself or written my book. Yeah, I mean, there's no other reason. And especially, trust me, it was a lot of people in a row. Like the fact that no one's brought me on one date in 2 years, I feel like is crazy. But
Oh shit, shit. Well, I mean, maybe. Well, you have been busy.
I'm a nice person.
You have been busy, and it is, and you have
Yeah.
been. It is rough in the big city.
Yeah, yeah. And I
You're,
and
no, you're not the only one. Like a lot of
I
people.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But
LA is a mess.
oh, you were in LA.
I was in LA with my, yeah,
Oh,
I mean, yeah, LA is
that
a,
explains.
yeah. I mean, no, the last year though, I was, not in LA. But yeah, once again, like after the first year of kind of trying to just date people, once again, it's kind of like scurrying for that connection, you know what I mean? When it finally just wasn't happening and I moved anyway, I stopped trying and I really dedicated myself to the book. And like in the last years when I've seen the most growth in myself. Uh, Yeah, so I mean, the way I'm talking right now is kind of Dana, like I would say a year and a half ago. But she's still in there somewhere.
I
Maybe
mean,
1%.
and LA is a tough city.
Yeah.
It's LA and New York.
Hmm.
I mean, those are tough cities.
Yeah, I won't
A
be
lot
there.
of single people there.
Yeah.
Um, but I was gonna say, I'm gonna go back to something you
Yeah.
because I'm just for layman terms. When people say
Yeah.
like, "Oh, the universe tells me," like, what exactly
Mm.
are they talking about when the universe is protecting or was trying
Hmm.
to show me something? Because you hear that a lot nowadays,
Yeah, all the it's
all the like it's one of the it's in the ether. No,
the ether, the quintessence, the
yeah.
plasma.
It's like one of the in the lexicon of spiritual
Yeah, jargon.
jargon. Yeah, what is that exactly? How would
Yeah.
you explain that?
Yeah, I can break down the metaphysics of what I think it is, at least what I write in my book. I think it's very nuanced. So I think that basically the way I see plasma, so there's plasma in science. I'm going to try to bring everyone through this. There's plasma in science, which is an ionized gas. It's known as the fourth state of matter. That's all kind of boring, but it actually isn't. Plasma is really fascinating. But that's like you're looking at plasma with a little looking glass, like named science. So when you zoom out and expand, plasma, the expanded definition of plasma is literally just a living ether, a living, intelligent, multidimensional ether.
Mm,
So, and they're studying it in science and not realizing that they're like harnessing this unicorn that wants people to know it's magical and it doesn't want to be used just for science. It wants to be used with it wants to harmonize with our consciousness and it will, unfold its gifts to us. And when people talk about the universe protecting them, like I just did, it's plasma as our cosmic mother. Plasma is our fabric of reality. It is this neutral, benevolent, but mostly neutral substance that is like a cosmic mirror. and it shows us what our subconscious is, what our resonance is. So when consciousness, or like when I'm doing something over and over, it's giving me that pattern because something in me is believing that or saying that. So there's that state where you think you're stuck in patterns where the universe keeps attracting or bringing the same thing. That's just plasma thinking it's giving you what you want. It's like your wish is my command, like the genie or the jinn. It's the same kind of thing. And then a step further than that, on this other side of the plasma, is the multidimensional self. And sometimes this is a mystery. I can't explain it. I don't know everything. None of us do. This God or part of God, our multidimensional self will step in and kind of, peer through this plasma and not give us exactly what we want and what we're thinking and reflecting, and it'll, push it away like those guys that you shouldn't be with anymore. So that's when the universe protects you, it's not just plasma. It's like I call it the mystery. It's the mystery, or you can call it God, whatever you want, working with plasma in ways beyond what any of us can understand. It's an
Yeah.
absurd thing.
How does it how so I kind of looked up a little bit about
Hmm.
and it's
Hmm.
99% of
The visible universe.
the visible universe.
Hmm.
What about the non-visible universe?
Yeah,
Because the universe is multi-dimensional, right?
yeah, I think so. I would say then I would kind of apply the Hermetic as above, so below quote.
Hmm.
If plasma makes up almost all of the visible universe and matter, then it definitely makes up the invisible, or the veiled reality. And that's kind of what I'm claiming. And more so than that, if we're not even being dual about it, it makes up everything. Everything is plasma, just in different states. Like in a weird way, we're just crystallized plasma. And our biofield around us is almost like a invisible liquid plasma, like your aura or your this toroidal energetic field around you. They call that bioplasma now, or your biofield. And then, crystallized plasma is a metaphor in science. Plasma crystals are real things. But, you know, I think, I do believe, and I think this will be proven, plasma is the fabric of our reality. Not the plasma in science, but it's almost like a finer ether, as I was saying, that they, haven't proved yet. That's, it's like an ocean we're all in, and we're the crystallized form of that in consciousness. And our consciousness can liquefy and go through this ocean of plasma and astral project and visit other planets and timelines, and then come back into our brains.
So
Yeah.
is plasma a liquid? Because plasma, this is one of the four stages of matter, right?
Yeah, so in science, plasma is an ionized gas. So there's solid, liquid, gas, and then plasma. And plasma is different than a gas because the electrons are free electrons. So there's
Right.
basically a bunch of like, it just has a bunch of exotic properties like energetic exchanges. Like the aurora borealis is plasma. So
Got
when you
it.
see the northern lights and that glow, neon signs are plasma. That is that
Mhm.
same kind of glow by some kind of energetic exchange. That gets very sciencey how they do that. That they do that with cold plasma. But
And it's
then there
heated,
is
right?
so there's
It's
there's
heated ions, right?
so there's hot plasma, and then there's cold plasma. And
Oh,
then there's what I call intermediate plasma. So heated plasma, hot plasma would be something like the sun or any star. It would be lightning. Where a neon sign would actually be cold plasma, even though the electrons are very hot. The outside of it's cool to the touch, which is why you can touch a neon sign and not get burned.
got
Uh,
it.
and then there's intermediate plasma, which has to do with cold plasma kind of. It's like programmable. If you look up dusty complex plasma, which they find in space and they can make in labs, that is kind of like an intermediate plasma, which is like sentient and intelligent, even in science, which is pointing at what I'm saying. But
But let me ask you this: how do you think that's going to help us? Like a lot of these discoveries.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm glad you asked that because I've read like so many spiritual books and a
Mm,
lot, and I've been into so many like theories and so many like whimsical spiritual things, and a lot of them have disconnected me from myself. Like I can't connect it to like
Hmm.
not spiritual things really, but like, people make videos all the time about like really fun mysteries and stuff or like fun mythology things. And then it's like, yeah, but what does that mean for me? So like I'm all about like
Right.
integrating that with humans and mental health. And that's like honestly what my whole book is about. And I could talk about that for hours, but I guess I'll think of like let me think of the way I used it the most so I'm not like just saying something here. Um Okay, so if someone feels, is there a way you want to ask about like how you can use it specifically, or do you want me to
No,
say?
no, I was just, because I think I saw something where I'm gonna get more specific because I saw
Hmm.
something
Oh,
where you're saying that well, for instance, your book says it's like
yeah.
consciousness and the new human. So you're
Yes. Hmm.
implying that there's going to be this can shift humanity, right? So
Yeah.
I just want to be in like, and also like when people hear all these spiritual concepts, at the end of the day, they're like, well, what does this
Yeah.
mean for me and my family? Or
Totally.
how do I get that call back? Or,
Okay,
or
so but that's a great one to can I speak on that because
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
like a
sure.
because I like answering like yeah normal human things like that because this is everyday stuff what people want to know is like how can I get money, how can I get that guy or girl, how can I get that call
Right.
back, and I have answers to those in my book and it might not be what people want to hear, but the truth is 100% you can't get anything, right? It's a mystery and there is some surrender included there with plasma. So plasma is a fabric of reality. If you're harmonizing with it, with your consciousness, which I go into my book and I could talk about, basically if you're resonating with what you want. Let's say I really want this movie and I tried out for a role and I'm resonating with it, meaning that I feel like I've already got the part. I'm already studying the lines, even though they haven't picked me. There's literally stories about people doing that and then getting cast, right? But then there's so many stories where people do that and they don't get cast. And a lot of people say, oh, that's because you weren't manifesting enough. Or like we always shame ourselves, like, I didn't think about it enough, or I was just not in a good mood and I pushed it away. The truth is, like, what is meant for you can't miss you, and you have to kind of surrender to the mystery. So, what I'll say is, you should be bold and go for what you want in life. And it's kind of like shoot for the stars and land on the moon. It's like there's many times you may as well go for it because you definitely could get it. And you probably will get it. But something like that, statistically, where there's a bunch of people's wills going for something, it's out of your hands. Like all you can do really, I mean, this is such a human answer, but you can resonate with it and just and go for it and you know you can do everything you want and still not get it. And I think the message is it doesn't mean anything about you or that you didn't do enough. Sometimes life is just a mystery and you thank God you didn't get that role because then you got a better one. Or maybe there's something trying to push you in a different direction. Like that's what I'm talking about, like the mystery coming through. So in my book, I do say my book isn't about like how to get things, I guess. My book is more about like how to surrender to the universe giving you things based on your resonance.
Hmm.
So, because if I got a lot of the roles in the movie, like for instance, I tried to make this movie Anana a few years ago for like 2 million bucks. This guy, this horrible producer stole like a lot of this money from me and an investor. I never
God.
got to make the movie. I'm gonna try to do it eventually. But the truth is, and I wrote this in my book, if I made it then, I never would have written this book. And I would have been in a very dark part of Hollywood. Like it just was not a good group of people. And I was just so desperate to make that movie. And sometimes like just like yeah, thank plasma, thank God, thank the universe, thank anything that like we don't get what we want because we don't always know where that will lead. So my
So,
point is like yeah, it's not sorry, go ahead.
no, no, I was gonna reiterate what you said. So rejection is protection, is what you
Rejection's protection. And it's just, and life's not about the stuff we want. Like, life's about the joy of creating. So, like, have fun in the auditions, have fun. Like, if make your own thing, have fun and writing your book and making your art piece. Like, once you sell it, it's not even that fun. Like, the most enjoyable part about my book was like the idea and getting the idea and writing it. Like, that's what lit me up. Like, now I'm kind of just like, I can't wait for my next idea. So, it's, the joy is in the journey, not the success and not the things we get. Those are like, let those be cherries on top. And the more you have fun in life and enjoy the moments of like juicy, life and mystery and fun with your friends and laughter, that's when those things all come. And you don't even have to do anything. They just appear. And it's almost like you could think it's hard to explain, but it's like magic. I can think something and it comes right away because I'm just in such a fun state and I'm not forcing it. So yeah, I think my I'm trying to help people get in the right resonance so they do get everything, not that they want, but that's meant for them. And usually if it lines up with you want, that's when and when you're lined up with your soul though, when you're lined up with your soul, usually they almost meet. And that's when you do get almost everything you want. But it's a soul-filled want. It's not an empty thing where you achieve, 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 and you're like, why am I still fucking miserable?
Hmm.
Yeah. Because yeah.
When you say it's the new human, you say
Yeah.
it's plasma consciousness and
And the
then
new human potential.
what's this new human? What does that look like?
Yeah, so there, I think the movement did not start with me. It started with Jean Houston, who wrote, I have the book, hold on, it's right. What is it? It's on my, I can't read it from here. A Mythic Life? Crap. Jean Houston, A Mythic Life or something like that.
Mhm.
Jean Houston, I think she's in psychology and philosophy and works with mythology and personal mythology and stuff. And anyway, she wrote this book with this woman called Annalo Smitsman. I'm butchering all this stuff right now, like about the new human potential. I don't remember. I need to say what the book is because she's a writer and I have to shout her out. Hold on. Jean Houston, Cosmic Book. Hold on, sorry.
I'm looking at it.
Oh, okay. The Quest of the Rose, The Cosmic Keys of Our Future. That was a few years ago. Um, so as I was writing this book, or I wasn't writing it then, as I was coming up with ideas, I came across this new human word, and I'm pretty
Uh,
sure I got it from that.
she has a lot
So
of books too, A Mystic Life of Living, the possible human,
possible human.
the Wizard of Us,
Yeah, she's a
the
genius.
Passion of Isis and Horus, Mind
Yeah.
Games. Wow.
Yeah, she's a genius. I love her. And I read she's in my book too. I like shout everyone out who I've gotten, ideas from or co-created ideas
So
with.
she coined
She kind of coined it.
yeah, the
The
phrase.
new human, yeah, new human
Gotcha.
potential, which basically, so her and Anna Lose, I hope I'm saying her name right. They write in this book about this new human, and it's exactly what I thought, but I don't know if I had words at the time, or I don't know if I thought this before or after, but it really doesn't matter. We're both basically on the same wavelength, where the new human is almost like you create this landing pad in your body for your multidimensional self to kind of expand in. So in the past few years, basically before this like multi-dimensional self kind of lands in your body, you're going to feel like tension and trauma because basically what's happening right now, we're all turning, and this kind of like weird to talk about, but we're all turning into these new humans. And it's just expansion. We're just expanding ourselves. And people have done this in history all the time, but it's happening at like a crazy rate, it seems, but the thing that everyone's missing out on, which is what I put in my book, and it has everything to do with plasma and mental health and consciousness, is that when you're expanding your bioplasma, your aura to hold this multidimensional self that needs to land, they don't have emotions up there. They have feeling. They don't have as much contrast as us, as Abraham Hicks would say. So when they land in our body and they realize that our what I call our filter is our plasma filter. So it's kind of like our plasma and consciousness interfacing with the world. And no one needs to know what that is right now. But basically, this plasma that I talk about, this fabric of our reality that we have around us, each like a bubble, like our torus biofield, it is programmed with so much trauma and darkness from years and years of survival and killing and fear and control. And I don't think anyone planned for that. I don't know the mechanisms of the universe, but when it lands in our body, before we become these new humans, we're going to go through a space of like the dark night of the soul. And I feel like I definitely went through mine the past few years where you feel like you're literally giving birth. You feel your muscles hurt. You even can get sick. You feel more depressed than usual. You have flashbacks from childhood. You have past life memories start coming up. You start like maybe seeing things differently. Even in
Mhm.
reality, you might see, orbs in the sky or like, real things in front of you and you think you're going crazy. Like a lot of this is happening to so many people and they're scared to talk about it. But I'm here to give hope that that's just a blip in your life. And I know it sucks because I've been through that horrible darkness. But what we're doing is we're healing plasma. So this multidimensional self, which is us, which is you, which is me, can co-create in this reality with plasma with a healed filter, with joy and curiosity. It doesn't mean, you're not gonna someone won't die in your life, or you're not gonna, stub your toe, or bad things are gonna happen, but your perspective is gonna be expanded. And that's, I feel like mine landed in me like 5 years ago, and ever since she's been like elbowing the sides of my bioplasma. But anyway, that's supposedly like,
Yeah.
and not supposedly, that's what I think the new human is. And Analos and Gene Houston kind of go into a very similar thing. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because a lot of people, what you're talking about, it's a lot of people have hypothesized and uh, have a theory about the new human or the awakening.
Yeah.
Like it coincides like from Celestine prophecy to
Yeah.
Conversation with God books to a lot of the Hopi Indians, and there's a
Yes.
lot of sort of
Mayans. Hmm.
Mayans and Dogons. Well, they sort of a lot of their discoveries. People
The
are,
Dogons. I write about that in my book too.
oh yeah, but what I'm saying, a lot of these indigenous groups, like you
Hmm.
said with the Mayans and stuff, have predicted there's this time, and it seems like the spiritual movement now is people are saying, hey, listen, our consciousness is expanding, or our dimensional shifts, and
Yeah.
so I've heard of all of that. I just have not heard. You're sort of new with this is new information for me with the plasma addition because
Hmm.
until recently I didn't even consider plasma except when you
Yeah.
give blood or your
Yeah.
TB,
Yeah.
and now to find out 99% of the visual universe is
Plasma.
plasma. So that means we are and the sun is and everything. It's
Everything.
like quantum physicists talk about this sort of everything's made up of energy. Is that what they're
It's
it
plasma.
it's just one material that everything's made up of, and
Yes.
it's either slowed down the vibration
Yes.
the vibration code is what makes it appear to be something different versions of matter. But it's all matter is actually plasma.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, plasma is more of a behavior. Like everything's plasma. It's at different states, and as we're talking about I would call it metaphysical plasma, right? Or just the fabric of reality. And
Mhm.
yeah, and this is where it gets exciting because then we start talking about, okay, well, plasma is the vehicle for consciousness. So once we can kind of harmonize with plasma in different ways, and now we think of this like, multidimensional self, now we can start working with time and future potentials and the past and learn how to actually see into those and use those to decide what we want to do in life. This is not a magic, this is not a cure all. Like it's not like I can look into the future and know exactly what's going to happen because they're potentials. They're in plasma. They're in plasma. They're in this there you can, so basically all your future potentials right now are at your current resonance, just
Mm.
like all your past lives are. You can only see what you're resonating with. The same in life, how you kind of meet friends who are resonating with you, and if you're around all bad friends, you might be attracting them. Um, which
Mhm.
I was. So my point is that
You're one
when
of
you,
them.
yeah, well, I was, I guess, right? I was very
No, no,
desperate.
I just meant in general, like with
Oh, yeah.
attracting these bad people, and then sometimes you think, well, maybe I'm one of the bad
But
people.
you're not. It's more that you
Yeah,
just like hate yourself. Yeah.
yeah, or yeah,
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you are the bad one, and it's never bad, right? It's like, we're sick and we're in fear and we all change. And there was a time where I was with hooligans when I was a teenager, and
yeah.
um,
But we're using human, I mean, colloquial language to
yeah,
describe a
yeah, yeah,
spiritual thing. But
yeah.
I'm sorry, I cut you
No,
off.
no, yeah, but no, I'm saying that you can, like, the exciting part now is like, and I'll write more books on this too, is like we're gonna get to learn how to control our resonance and have more control over our emotions at a higher level. Not control what we feel. It's more learning how to harness these things to tap into seeing future potentials. And then we can, for instance, right now at my resonance, I can look and I can start to get an image and see where I'm heading. And then I could say, oh, I like that or I don't like that. and then kind of make choices. Anyway, it's very complex, but my point is that's one of these like tools of the new human. And then, we go into communicating with other beings of consciousness, learning about how to harmonize our consciousness with plasma, that kind of, there's so many things.
It's so funny. The reason why I was asking you before, like, how does this interplay with hu humanity or human
Yeah.
beings? Only because, so like when scientists or neurophysicists espouse on this theory, um, sometimes it's just too, well, how am I gonna, like, how does that affect me? Because, like, for instance, if I like calculus and stuff like that, or
Mm-hmm.
like when we learn about the Fibonacci sequences,
Uh-huh.
it doesn't like I'm never using
Great, but
it's cool, but I'm never using that in my to pay my rent. You know what I'm saying? Or like
totally.
day-to-day life. So I was
That was
wondering,
my frustration.
so yeah, so I was kind of wondering like
Hmm.
it almost has to be pared down or somehow it has to be in a way where it can be integratable into my life for me to
Totally.
for it to hold me. Because if I'm whatever in love with this person
Yeah.
and I'm all screwed up, or I'm trying to heal myself and get better,
Yes.
it's like
Yes.
I no longer could think about Planck scale and Max Planck and whatever
No.
material. Well, all these quantum physics things about
Yeah.
uh what do you call it? Location. What's it called?
Non-locality.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Entanglement and
Yeah, they're all cool, right? But guess what? That's all the material world. Even if it's stuff we don't see, that's all observable. That's all measurable.
mm,
I am talking about the not measurable. I'm
mm,
talking about all of the stuff. I'm talking about the dream world, the astral world, the stuff that's made of plasma, but isn't, well, I don't know if we'll ever measure it in science, and I don't think we're supposed to. And I think that all that stuff is great for the material world, but the thing is, our disease starts in the immaterial. So someone's going to have to start studying the ethane immaterial and connect
mm,
consciousness with science. And you can't really do that in their framework. So that's why I'm talking about we need a new science. Like, and Robert Temple says this, who wrote a plasma book, A New Science of Heaven. We need a new science that integrates consciousness with science, and plasma is that bridge. And, a bunch of people are going to start to come up with it. I think, I'm one of many at the forefront of it, but we're going to need new mathematics based on systems, not numbers, and more holistic studies that integrate the human, because the observer effect, literally consciousness affects scientific tools. But yeah, in my book is all about how plasma integrates in mental health. Like,
yeah,
probably every few
fantastic.
pages, like I literally talk about, because I needed that. I needed something tangible to ground me. There was so much I was looking up that was like great, but I either felt like I had to follow something, or I felt like, yeah, I just couldn't ground it in reality. And plasma for me was a perfect thing. Like for healing, when you're Reiki healing with your hands, that's plasma energy coming out. You can heal yourself. I've done it to myself. I'm not 100% guaranteeing it, because once again, it's not 100% because it's a mystery. And there's things out of your control, but wouldn't you rather try to heal yourself than not? My point is it ups the percentage of you healing. Um,
Mhm.
yeah.
So how is plasma different from, well, two questions I'm kind of curious about. How is it different from energy? Because they say everything's
Mhm.
made up of energy,
Mhm.
and but then I'm learning everything's made up of plasma. I feel like are there is it like a euphemism for each other, or is it is it a synonym for
Yeah.
energy, or is it two different things?
Yeah, that one's nuanced. I think, yes, I would say,
Or
trying to think
which?
of the word in science. So, like, yes, and I'll add on to it. So, yeah. So, plasma has many synonyms the way I speak about it. That can be like quintessence, ether, energy, maybe like
Mm,
quantum field, but kind of beyond the quantum field. Veiled reality. I mean, I have like 100 different mythological words in my book. Ki, chi. But so basically,
mm,
chi is a great example. So there's plasma, the fabric of reality. Just think of it as like an intelligent clay. Like if, my how my screen's kind of pixelated, like
Hmm.
well, just every pixel, like it's just picture the pixels are made up of holographic plasma that are neutral. But that so, just everything's plasma, just like with you. So, um the when energy comes in, so when my consciousness is interfacing with this plasma, when I'm what I call plasma consciousness synergy, when I'm synergizing with this plasma, let's say I wanted to heal you with
Hmm.
my hands, like I'll send energy through to you right now. That coming off my hands is also energy. And yes, it's plasma, but it's more what I would call emergent energy. So I think there's like, nuances in it. But yeah, you can call it energy plasma. You can call plasma Cheerios. I tell everyone like it doesn't really matter. I call it plasma because plasma in Greek literally means to mold or the molded. So it's literally like the intelligent clay of the universe. And it also is being studied in science and plas dash ma, it's like a symbol of the divine feminine or a receptive quality. So I think calling it plasma because they're literally studying it in science is like the best name we've ever had for it yet. Maybe there'll be a
Got
new
it.
one in the future that can unlock a new perspective of it.
Oh, so basically it's such a new frontier. People are still uh not all on board with the same sort of explanations or theorizing it from the same point of view.
Yeah, yeah. I think so. Like, obviously, in science, they know it's like an ionized gas, right? But there's so much about it they don't know. And then, not to be like conspiracy-ish, but like there's stuff about it they know that they've kept hidden for 100 years. And I mean, you could Google that. I'm not making that up.
Right.
And they did that because of national security. And they also did that because I don't know, it really empowers people. So maybe there was some fear there of like, okay, if someone can learn telekinesis, what will they do to our country kind of thing. So anyway, there's been a lot of suppression with it, but that time's coming to an end. So it's really
It
exciting.
seems like it. Seems like it because there's so much with AI and a lot of people are afraid of AI and stuff, but
Hmm.
it's sort of right now kind of non-biased, so it's just spitting out information and now people have access to things that info or even just the internet info
Yeah.
that you had to be like a skull and crossbones to learn.
Yeah.
You had to join
Yes.
some Illuminati-esque kind of group
They've
to
used
learn this
plasma
stuff.
magic for hundreds of years. Maybe they didn't always call it plasma, but magic is plasma energy. So, yeah.
Well, I wonder because they also scientists I also read about how they said dark matter, almost everything's we is made up of most of the universe is this dark matter, and we don't even know
Yeah.
the energy of it. So I'm wondering if that,
Hmm.
I mean, if
Tell me what you think, because you're about to be right. I can feel where you're going. You're being genius.
well, no, 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 you put pressure on me.
Sorry, now the genius went away.
Well, it's just hiding.
But what do you think? I'll tell you what I think dark matter is, and I think that they're going to come out about this really soon. But are you thinking maybe it has to do with plasma or something you're
Yes,
kind of saying?
but well, based on what you're telling me, I'm thinking it has to do with
Okay.
like a different version of plasma, the plasma that
Yes.
is in the process of forming
Yes.
the universe,
That's what it is.
like the unseen, the unfor the
Mhm.
the clay without the
Potential.
that hasn't formed into a bowl yet, or
Yeah.
yeah, potential.
That's what it is. So this guy Jay Alfred calls it dark plasma. I call it fourth
Mhm.
dimensional plasma, or you can call it inverted plasma. Carl Jung called it the collective unconscious. So it is basically this realm that we are confused about because it's beyond science and we're looking at it and we're not seeing anything because it's not observable in science and they're just all confused. And you can even look into plasma cosmology. Plasma cosmology takes out the need for dark matter and dark energy and everything's just plasma. And that was from like this guy named Hannes Alfvén in like this 1960s. And you can literally Google it. It's not like I'm just making this up and thinking it out of nowhere. But I basically connect Carl Jung's The Collective Unconscious with this dark plasma. So this is where it gets kind of interesting. And this is kind of like almost the same plasma that's around us that's invisible. So when you have fears and you're resonating with stuff, this is why you have nightmares. This is why you might see a demon in your room when you have sleep paralysis. Once you're healing your trauma and you connect with this collective unconscious, which we're always connected to. You might see angels in your room. You might have amazing experiences. So once again, it's all about our resonance. And then this, like, memory bank, this Akashic realm of the collective unconscious, this dark matter, 4D plasma, this is kind of like showing us things in the cloaks and the costumes of the collective unconscious. And many people mistake that for reality, that they're, you can call it Maya or the illusion, that they're being, haunted by these things, and they may as well not live because they're having these horrible experiences. And I want to tell people, like, you can change this. Like, I changed it. I went from having really dark experiences to really beautiful ones, all because I healed my trauma. So I'm almost done, but the fact that there's a direct correlation with healing your trauma and the fabric of the universe showing you different things is literally like there is a benevolent force that wants us to evolve. It's like perfect.
And
Yeah.
some people think we're the benevolent force
I think we are. It's our future
that
selves. It's our,
wants us to, well, it's kind of like a version. We're like,
yeah.
be this version with amnesia that doesn't know its own greatness.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it is and it isn't. I think it's a paradox. Yeah.
I'm trying to get back to something you were saying.
Oh, yeah.
You were saying that so like it was like a so it is from what you're saying, it sounds like the known universe, it's sort of a projection screen.
Mm-hmm.
We're sort of interactive with it. If we're, you know,
Mm-hmm.
if we're creating these demons or these different things that are
Mm-hmm.
is sort of a projection of what's going on
In us.
in us, that means we're capable of changing and manipulating this known
Yeah.
universe.
We are. And I think in thousands of years from now, that will actually be like us materializing planets and, worlds and stuff. But right now, our consciousness evolves and reality evolves, right?
Mm.
So right now it's starting with, I think more and more people seeing things and not being crazy. Like more and more people having those visual experiences, but they're completely grounded in reality and they're not, they don't have schizophrenia. And, I've had these things happen. And that's why I think it's so dire for people to hopefully read my book, because when you realize that, so these are real energies you're coming up against. I want to make that clear. The energies are real, but I kind of differentiate in my book. There's informational energies, which are not free will. They're just informational energies and they have the plasma cloak on. And then there's like conscious beings that are coming to us from I don't know where, which everything's wearing this plasma cloak. So my point is this plasma is reflecting our subconscious.
Mm.
So the this kind of is complicated, but the energies we think are evil or fear-based, none of those are free will. Those are all the collective unconscious energies that we have formed almost as like an egregore throughout hundreds and hundreds of years, including gray aliens, including cryptids, including demons. Those are literally all our traumas, and they've became real things. But if we don't resonate with that and if we heal ourselves, we will not have those experiences. That is why they show up in moments of intensity. And then there are these beautiful beings of consciousness that visit us from these higher, fifth dimensional realms, maybe from other timelines, whatever. And they're in that same cloak. So my point is, if you're being visited even by an angel, you're going to see a demon if you're in fear. And then, of course, like once in a blue moon, and once again, this is the mystery, even if you're in fear and deep grief, you might have a beautiful experience. And I don't know how to explain that. So, yeah.
Mm. It's interesting because people often, I know you said optimists at one point. I feel like when
Hmm.
people are optimistic, when I'm optimistic, everything's beautiful, everything's great.
Yeah.
I meet great people because I travel a lot. So when I
Yeah.
travel, when I have this positive vi or expectation about the place that I'm going,
Yeah.
everything's always great.
Yes.
And then even though you're like people will say like, well, I went there and I got robbed or I did this and that. I was like, what, really?
Yeah.
Or like you say, people would sometimes people would tell you when you go to certain places, oh, don't go to this
Yes.
area. And then I go, well, I actually went and was nice, people. I left my car open.
Yeah.
I dropped my wallet. Someone told me, "Hey, you did," and
Uh-huh.
people were like freaking out. No way in that area that
Uh-huh.
happened. But I experienced something completely different. I
Yes,
mean,
your own
you have that
resonance.
even like okay, so being minority, African American, whatever you want to call
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Weak, but
A human, but you can a
you're
human
right.
that also has African American culture. Yeah.
Exactly. But what
Uh-huh.
I'm only bringing this up to say that
Yeah.
sometimes you can get caught up into like somebody does something negative and you start thinking, oh, okay, this area is racist or
Yes.
this is going to happen, and then you start
Yes.
being on guard, and then
I relate to you
you're
that
also
like
creating the experience even
of
though
that.
of that as well, or
Yes.
you know what I mean? Because your
The
mind
plasma.
now is right.
I really relate to you because it's funny, like, I'm not African American, but I'm a woman.
Right.
So I have these ingrained beliefs that I'm going to get killed for telling the truth, and I think that's because of the witch hunts. And then I have ingrained, and these aren't beliefs. I will say they're ingrained thoughts that I know not to believe because they're self-fulfilling prophecies. And then I have thoughts about getting
Years.
kidnapped or murdered because there's so
Mm,
many murder mysteries on TV all about women. So it's like, if
right.
you shine, you'll get murdered. Like that is ingrained in so many people's heads and they don't even realize it, especially women and minorities.
Mm,
So, if you speak out, you get killed. And I felt this to the point where I almost didn't finish my book and had a mental breakdown alone on my birthday in Montana by myself. Almost had to go to a psych ward, and I'm being very honest about this. Not because I'm cray cray, but well, I guess I am a little cray cray, but because I was feeling these overwhelming thoughts about that. Not that I wanted to do it to myself. And then I, worked it through my therapist, and thank God she's educated in like past life stuff. And, I had memories of being burned at the stake. I had memories of being killed in past lives for speaking my truth or like, anyway, not to go too far into that, but my point is when I let those get the best of me, like for instance, when I do walk around and think that someone's going to kidnap me, I'll hear a rustle in the bushes and it will scare me more than usual, or I will have a bad experience with like a
mhm.
creepy, guy or whatever, because in a way you're resonating with that. And that's what I think is really important for people to hear too. It doesn't mean you bring things in and it's your fault or you deserve it, but yeah, expecting the best really brings most of that in. And it's not like some unfortunate things won't happen, but those are all projections of people. But once again, it's all about resonance, like you're saying. And you saying that is a great reminder for me to also, continue to expect the best because I'm in a stressful time right now. So,
Mm. Well, yeah. I'm just sort of, as you're saying things, it's sparking things. I'm
yeah.
sort of making connections or whatever.
Mhm.
And you said, like for instance, the wave particle experiments where we start people start knowing the observer as you observe the particle, it's behaves one way. So
Mhm.
that means we're sort of interactive with this. I
Reality.
mean, according to that hypothesis, right?
Yeah.
Is we're sort of we're affecting reality or the reality or the
Yeah.
Maya. We're affecting it. So if we're affecting it, then we're affecting and most of these things are plasma. Plasma is um uh,
It's the memory
it's
holder.
interactive with us
Yeah.
and it's interactive with the reality we're creating.
Yeah.
And anxiety, if we're more fear-based, then we start seeing whatever we feel, we start seeing a replica of it on the exterior.
Exactly.
And so that means if we control what we're feeling, or if we
Yeah.
sort of we take the helm or we take the
Yeah.
what we're feeling, then we because athletes do this. They said, "Oh, I
Yeah.
every day I wrote down in my book I'm going to be an Olympian." And I think it's no coincidence
No.
that these people end up getting there,
Yes. Yeah.
like
I think
half the time. Sorry.
no, I agree. I was going to just say, I think it's daring to believe. And sometimes even I struggle with that because I have the human emotion of like, okay, well, if I dare to believe, and what if I don't get it? Like, what does that mean? And it's almost like there were so many times when I was a kid when I wished something and it didn't happen, like when I wanted out of something and it just no one felt like they were going to come save me, right? So it's like I've built up this resentment against the universe or God or whatever this force is, plasma, and I like hated it. And I think that I had to heal my own belief. And now I'm realizing, and I've realized through plasma, and this is why I love plasma, is that I can harmonize with it and choose to, no matter what I wanted help with when I was praying when I was younger to get out of my situations, I didn't believe I would. You know what I mean? And
Mm,
I don't know if it's
okay.
the same for kids' consciousness because I don't know if they're like fully even grown with consciousness yet. Like kids in plasma, I would love to get into that one day because I haven't even explored that. But as far as like the human brain, developed brain in plasma, it is what you're saying, where like you could pray all day for something, but it doesn't like you have to believe it. And most of us are scared to believe because we've been let down so much. But I'm here, I hope people hear that if you dare to believe, you're more likely to get it than if you don't dare to believe. So you may as
Right.
well dare to believe. And then if you don't get it, that's the surrender. That's okay. You know what? Something better is coming along. Like even today, I I put out I'm waiting. Well, there's two things. What do I want to talk about? I put out signed copies for my book, and the thoughts in my mind were like, no one cares about signed copies, you stupid little girl. And I was so anxious about it, and I like got like one sale and then no more. But it was only like the first hour me putting it out. But I like thought in my mind I wanted like 100 sales in the hour. And it was like I didn't even want to believe I could because I was too scared. So like, these are things that humans have to deal with, and it's just like we have to be like, no. I do believe that, and it's not about me. It's about this being a service to people, and that will excite people.
Mm.
And it's when we reframe things based on making it about not all about ourselves, I find it gets easier, and that's something I'm learning.
Yeah, I do also realize for myself, I can only speak from my experience, personal experiences are my teachers, so it's my teachers. So I
Yeah.
can only speak of from that. And I know
Yeah.
that when I want something and or when I praying feels like begging.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it's not the right energy, it's not the right vibe.
No.
But also when I want something is different to when I expect something.
Yes.
When I expect something, mathematically, I almost always get it.
I do too.
But
Yeah.
if I wish and hope for something, then it's not the same
It's
power. It's not
desperate
the same.
energy.
Yeah, it's not the same thing. And sometimes we think, well, I tried and it didn't happen. Well,
Yeah.
but you didn't expect it though.
Yeah.
You were kind
Totally.
of, well, let's see. And that's a different to like, oh, that's gonna
It is.
happen.
Well,
I
let me
don't
ask
know
you a question.
Yes.
How do you hold that tension? Because, for instance, I'm in a new point in my life right now where I am rubbing up against, I'm a plasma expert, but I'm not a manifesting expert, right? So I can tell you why it has to do with plasma, but it doesn't mean I know everything. So my point is, I'm curious with you, how do you hold the tension? Because now I'm waiting for things. For instance, like I might have, booked one of my dream things and I'm waiting to hear back. And how do you, I know the answer to this, right? But I want to know from you, how do you personally hold the tension of expecting it, but it not coming right away? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if you have to wait 2 weeks and you still are expecting it, but then you do have those thoughts creep in of it might not come, and then you like almost get caught into like hoping it happens, and you're like, no, don't hope that, because then you're not expecting it. Like, how do you hold the tension of those things?
Yeah, that's what we're doing down here on Earth. It's like we're constantly, well, at least in this realm, I feel like we're constantly maneuvering through the muck and mire of realizing that we're great or realizing that we are. So, but I will say something you did say. I don't know how to completely, I don't know how I do it every time. Sometimes I do it great, and sometimes I'm like, I don't know for how much I believe in this, or like
Yeah.
or when there's anxiety around something, it's harder to do it.
Yeah. Same.
I have to recognize the anxiety and then go, oh, and then kind of surgically remove that. But sometimes,
Same.
but what I will say is, you said that I'm not like a great manifester or something. I'm good at
Well, I
plan.
am a little, but I'm not a pro.
Yeah, but you are a pro.
Okay, I'm a pro.
No, no,
Oh,
no.
you're right.
What I'm
Oh shit.
saying is you're
Yeah.
manifesting. every single thing, even everything, even
Right.
the negative things, you've
Yes.
manifested it.
Yes. Thank you
So
for reminding me that I shit.
no, no, you're constantly doing it. It's just where your shift is.
Where you're shifting the attention.
Yeah. And I think,
Yeah.
and I really believe that, like, where, what I was like, I've never not gotten something I've expected to get.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've got, but anything that I kind of not sure about, that it's hit or miss. It's
It's
50-50.
teetering.
Yeah. But that's the thing of like, I want to know what version of plasma is that? Where does that voice come from when I say sometimes
Yeah.
I'm gonna, as a guy, I said, hey, I should tell that person how
Something.
something like like I'm happy to see her today or whatever. Oh, don't do
So
that. You'll be a creep, you know. And
where
then
are those coming from?
yeah, where are those negative? Or if I say like I should go ask that person about to be on the podcast, and they're like, "Pff, they're not gonna be on your podcast, bro.
Yeah, I get
Like,
that.
where is that voice? I don't know where
Yeah.
that voice is, but you're constantly in this particular dimension or wherever.
Yeah.
You're constantly battling that person or
That's what
that
yeah.
and where's that energy coming from?
Yeah, so I'm curious what you think about this. So it's funny because like I know all this and then they're still so loud sometimes that it's like, ah. So I always know. It's just about trusting it, right? So like
Mhm.
for instance, with this podcast I'm even talking about with you. So like it's my dream podcast. I would say it, but I don't want to jinx anything. But I hope that I get on it and I'm waiting to hear back and I've had very good feedback so far. But I envision myself on it. I cry when I think about it. Like I know I'm going to be on it. But
Yeah.
it's just like so and that's coming from my gut, my
Mhm.
intuition, but it's not even intuition, it's your multidimensional self with that higher perspective. It's
Mhm.
sensing that like really strong future potential in my case. In your case, it's sensing more that it's almost like, well, you could say God working through you too, but it's like your soul is supposed to tell that woman's soul something, and that's gonna put her like, who are you to rob her of that experience? So you better tell her kind of thing. Like, but anyway, that's like, whatever you want to call it, that is, it's always clear. That is the difference. So that thing that comes from the gut or anywhere below here, it is clear. You are never confused about what you at least are thinking or saying, and it feels calm and soft. Then anything from here above is that other voice that's like, no, don't do that. They don't care about you. And that feels harsh. It feels like it's kind of cutting you. It feels like it confuses you. Whereas the other one just gives you clarity, but then that other voice comes in to confuse you. So
Yeah.
that other voice is what I would call more fourth dimensional plasma or the collective
Mhm.
unconscious. Some of those aren't even yours. Some of those are what your mom used to say to you that upset you. Like, my mom used to call me a monster because I was bullying my brother and she didn't understand that I was going through really bad stuff. So then I thought I was a monster. Then kids started calling me Medusa, who's a monster. Like, it's crazy how these things all create your life. And for the longest time, I didn't know that was her voice, not mine. So it's like that shit's up there. Like you have bullies talking to you. You have just things you're resonating with that are like radio chatter. So once you really learn that, and I'm still learning too, even though I know this, eventually, and I'm still, in therapy healing this, I believe you can actually almost, maybe not always, but like heal the majority of that. And then you'll just really have more of that inner voice. And that's really when you're in flow all the time. Maybe people call it enlightenment. I don't really love that word. So yeah, those are the differences, I believe. And in the beginning, since I'm, only 5 years into this journey myself, especially when you've gone through immense trauma and immense feeling like you're not worth anything, like that voice is going to be very loud and it's just about not believing it. And eventually it gets lower and lower. But in times of when you're about to succeed or get that big role or get your dream podcast or get your dream guest, it's going to be loud. What you have to remember is that I'm telling myself this too, but it's true. What you have to remember that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. That means you're close to your potential and you have to
Yeah.
listen to the feeling over the voice.
People often say like as you get closer to what you wanted, that voice it gets there's a lot it gets
So
the
loud.
negative voice gets louder. What you said something interesting that I think is very helpful. Well, for me, I hope the
Mhm.
audience too.
Mhm.
Because you said that you hear this voice saying, "Oh no, you're not this whatever the voice is, the negative voice is." You say sometimes you have to remember that may not be your voice, it's your mom's voice. But what
Mhm.
popped into my head is like, "Oh, a lot of times it's not my voice, but it's always using my voice like a ventriloquist."
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's where you get confused.
Yes.
It's that it's always in your tone and your
Yes.
voice,
Yes. It's
but
a
it's
harsh
not really
tone.
your thoughts. I mean, it's well, it's something you're borrowing or you've latched onto.
Yeah, it's lashed on you or you lashed on it.
And because it's always using your like AI, like like or deep
No,
fakes,
it is.
whatever, because it's always using your voice, you kind of sort of make it you, you know?
Yes.
And I
That's a
was like,
great
wait, I don't have to
comparison.
make it me anymore.
No, that's an amazing comparison you just said with AI because what I say in my book about the fourth dimensional space, it is AI. It's not AI. It's not AI. No one get carried away with that. But it's like AI where it's information based. There's nothing new there. Like there's beautiful healing archetypes there, right? But and there's ancestors there, but there's healing stuff there, but there's nothing new. Where the new comes in is that gut, that fifth dimensional space, that realm of ideas that really isn't your voice. It's more of like a soft voice. Maybe it's you in like 1,000 years voice, but it's like a wise you. Either way, like it's way different than what you're kind of saying, like that egregore sticking its hand in the glove of your consciousness and speaking to you. So yeah, it's
Mhm.
but still, even knowing it, it's more about not tr yeah. Well, even because I like know that, right? But it's like it's still there and it's like just not trusting that and that's the hardest thing. But even me saying that makes it harder. So like it doesn't need to be the hardest thing. It's clearly like at least for me what I'm discovering about myself is like I still have an issue obviously trusting my gut 100%. So like that's something for me to work on.
Yeah, I think there's always areas. There's area like you're confident enough to do this book and do all the stuff and speak your mind. You speak your mind more than most people
Hmm.
that I've spoken to on a
Yeah.
podcast. So
It's not confidence, it's authenticity.
whatever. I mean, that's actually better authenticity.
Yeah, I
You-
need more confidence.
Mm, or maybe you need to realize that you are already confident.
Yes, I need to remove the layer between me and confidence, which is the story I'm telling myself that
Mm.
I'm not confident because I am confident in what I say and I am confident in my book. What I'm not, oh my God, thank you.
You're about to do that story. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, no, I was gonna say, okay, I'll tell you where the story comes from.
Uh,
The story just comes from a very strong, once again, inner dialogue of unworthiness that I'm still working through. So
uh,
sometimes it just gets very loud, and I believe my own delusion of the
yeah.
fact that, like, yeah, who cares? My book isn't good enough or who cares? No one's gonna wanna, hear what you have to say. Like, but the wonderful thing I can even be proud of myself for is that I still do everything. Like, no matter how scared I am, because I've been even writing this book was the scariest thing I've ever done. I did it. So we can feel fear, but as long as we take action, sometimes action is the only thing that can defeat fear. Yeah.
That's why I think you're confident because I think people think confidence is like feeling no fear. That's not it. Confidence is feeling the fear and doing it anyway.
Right. Yeah.
You seem to be doing that and this information you have is way out in left field
Yeah.
and yet you still like you're not I speak to a lot of people, you're not saying it with any hesitation or any kind of like, well, I
Mm-mm.
think this is what this you're saying it as this is like information that you are
Yeah.
laying
It
to.
works.
Yeah, and it's but you solely believe in it, and
It's
that's
yeah.
great. That's what we need. That's what's great.
Oh, yeah. No, that's the one thing I'm confident about. Maybe you know what the word is? Maybe I need which I know, and I'm growing this still. I'm developing more compassion for myself still. So I think I'm working on like, yeah, just that inner narrative. But yes, like what I can say I'm confident in is I made this book not just to not the first reason, and I think any writer or artist, if you're being extremely honest, is just pure self-expression. I just had to get it out. Like
Hmm.
I can't, the mystery drove it. It's a mystery. I had to get it out. I can't, I don't know why. The second reason is because I so badly collect myself, want people, Jesus, sorry. I want people not to feel alone like I have felt in the past, and I want them to have fun with life. So I hope this brings more of that because I know there's a lot of pain out there and loneliness, but I think this can help change it. Yeah.
Yeah. How so?
Um, sorry.
Uh,
Just
it's okay.
like, well, I don't know how so really. I think just by reading it, but I guess if I could really, I guess say with it, I'm getting in my head now. Let me speak from my heart. I think when people read my story, which I peppered through the book, they might not feel so alone in their internal dialogue and in the pain they're feeling and maybe these even spiritual experiences they're having and they're scared to talk about it at work or around friends and like hopefully I can be a guiding light that your like life won't be ruined if you're just yourself. And if you're in a job where you can't be yourself, maybe you shouldn't be in that job. And like, why are we living life to hide? Like, why can't we just live life as our playful, childish selves and like we're here to enjoy life. And why are we so scared about like I'm just so tired of like what this person's gonna think about me, what this friend thinks of me. Like I want to build a life where I'm just free in every aspect. I don't think we need to put on these suits and play adults. Like, who invented that? And like, who invented people in Hollywood and professional people who wrote self-help books? Why can't they be more vulnerable and talk about more of their stuff? Why do they have to be so freaking siphoned? So it's like I'm trying to crack open the world of rainbows back into the life because I just feel like there's so much inner turmoil. And then as far as plasma goes, like for me, plasma connected me back to me. It's not like this thing outer. It's like in spirituality, we're always looking for a God outside ourselves and outer. Plasma was the first thing I found that was inner, and it reflected my subconscious. So I was able to work on me. Like I wasn't working on spirituality. I was working on facing my demons and my biggest traumas. And that's what we should do. Like my biggest thing is like my biggest struggle is like learning how to make friends. So like I need to figure out that before I'm like trying to transcend the fucking universe astral projecting. And most of us are so excited about these spiritual things. And it's like we have to get it together down here, like with each other first. Then we'll do all those fun stuff. But like, let's at least integrate some of the embodiment and earth back in. Yeah.
That's so cool because it's like my grandmother used to say, my grandmother's the most spiritual, if for whatever you, for lack of a better word, person I
Yeah.
know. And she used to say, she never spoke like, "Hey, beautiful souls." She never did any of that or speak
Yeah.
in a whispery voice.
Yeah.
She just would, so she would say, but she had this quote, and I always thought it was funny. She was like, "Sometimes you have to get off your high horse and ride a donkey."
Yes, I love her. Oh my God. See, that's how you know though she's speaking truth. And I hate to cast judgment, but I guess this is slight judgment, but it's more a statement I'm about to say.
Mm.
Like I think there's pressure when you get into the spiritual field to like wear like a jeweled, bejeweled thing and be like, "Hello, angels." And like if that feels genuine to you, like go ahead, right? Who the heck am I to say how you self-express? But I think for some people it might be a pressure thing where you feel like once again, you're just fitting in a new box, hun. Like
Hmm.
let's just be ourselves and like you're saying, like normalize spirituality, let's just say it's humanity, right? It's human magic and human love and reality. And I think plasma is a nice metaphysical bridge between spirituality and science. So for me, it's just like the embodiment of fun. And it's like, let's just all be who we are. And maybe that is wearing those jewels or wearing like, I don't know, like a sunglasses and yellow raincoat vibe. But it's like, let's just be that and let our freak flag shine and not do something just because we want success or money. Like, I would love buckets of money, and I think I will have money. I think I'll always be okay because I just know that. But I'm not going to do anything for that. even if it's structured in a guaranteed success, I'm not going to do that. I want to be free.
First of all, I think it's hilarious. He said wearing sunglasses and the yellow wrinkle. It was very
Oh,
specific.
I don't know where
I
that
don't
came
know
from.
who you've been following that's doing that.
I actually don't. I was just thinking of like Inspector Gadget in the rain and something, and that came to me.
But because I come from the comedy, uh, I'm that's also part of my persona that
Yeah,
I I I I don't know if I want to call it judgment, but it makes me laugh when people are spiritual when they have an act, like
yeah,
hey beautiful souls, because almost everybody's doing the same
the same.
same type of thing. Say, hey, I'm really spiritual and my name is Lilikoi now,
I know.
and
I
it's like,
know.
come on, man. Like, well, because I look at it as like, because I used to audition a lot of people, and I
Yeah.
see whenever I see that, I see it like a bad audition.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
So
mean, I think just like I think that it is, I'm trying to think how to say this. Um, it's just like another way of wanting to fit in. And it's like, I don't
yeah,
listen, like I was a fucking mess when I was younger. Like we all can change, right? So like anyone who maybe is hearing this and like that and like feels a little offended, like I'm so sorry. But if you really look at it, it's like, well, either way, my point is like these people can all make changes. So, we're not really
right.
judging anyone. It's more we're judging like a certain way of being. And once again, we are saying, if that feels authentic to you, do it. And then, don't listen to us. You don't have to listen to anything we're saying. This is just
I
our
don't,
truth.
yeah, yeah. I don't think they should not do it. I just feel like it's. I feel like I feel okay about thinking, oh, that's kind of funny.
Well, I think you know what it is though, and I will say this. There's some people who do it and you just know they're not genuine and you know
Right.
they're just doing it for money. And it's like not cool. And you know who they are behind closed doors. Don't meet your heroes.
Exactly. That's I guess that's what it is. I feel like I know it's like a shtick or like an act. But
Yeah. And
go
mm,
ahead.
go ahead. No. Well, I
No,
was just gonna say one thing.
yes.
Because I want your opinion on it. So
Okay.
like so a lot of these people, people I used to judge, right? Or
Mm.
people who made courses. And because like everyone makes a course. And then recently people were asking me for a workshop or course on plasma, like asking me for one. Like so like part of me is like, okay, maybe I can make it a class, not a course. But now I'm like cringing at myself because I'm one of those people. But this is why I wanted to bring up the nuance of it, because that's when I started thinking, okay, but am I doing this for money or am I doing this because I love it? And that's why I took a step back and I'm like, I'm only going to make something because I love doing it and I know it's helping people. And if it's a course, it's a course, but I'm not going to do a course because everyone's doing a course to make money. So anyway, I had that little come to Jesus moment recently where I was like, why am I doing this? And I had to like think about it. So anyway,
Well, I mean, I'm gonna go back to something you asked earlier, and you said that you were asking like, how do you I don't know if I'm paraphrasing here. How do you sit in the anxiety or how do you
attention, yeah.
the tension? And I think that's going to happen from time to time. And I think it's more that how do you forgive yourself? How do you give yourself a break for being human?
I know, you're right. Compassion, yeah.
Yeah, because you're going to have those moments, and it's like you
Yeah.
gotta. I feel I'm just saying just based on how you're asking. Like, there's a lot of
Yeah.
judgment on yourself,
I know.
and you're like, you're just a human being. There's nothing wrong with making money.
No, there's not. No,
Nothing wrong
totally.
because you know from the gut that your
I'm doing.
information is pure and your intention is pure. If you happen to
Yeah.
make money on the side of
Yeah.
it, then that's
No,
fine. But no one cares if you're making money if we're getting
coming out of
fed.
it.
Yeah. If we're getting fed and you happen to be making money, it was like more power to her.
Yeah. It's funny because like actually sometimes things are projections. Like I'm so happy for people who are making money from what they're doing. So in this case, it is more of a thing, and at least for that. And I think I've almost gotten past it, but it's like imposter syndrome thing or
Yeah.
having more, like you're saying, no self-judgment, having compassion for myself.
Well, if we're honest, some people are going to. not like you or
I'm
not like what
sure,
you're doing
yeah,
or think, oh, who does she think she is? But then it's not for those people, or
totally.
they will get it later,
Yeah.
when they
They'll
finally
get
settle
it
down.
when it's like world news very soon. I'm telling you.
Exactly.
Can I actually share something with you that's kind of secret?
Oh yeah.
And this is real. I'm telling the truth, guys. I do not lie. I don't know how. I'm sure I've lied. Actually, that's not true, but I'm not lying about this. I'm sure I've made up things in my life. We all have, and I used to be a drug addict, so I'm sure I did. So people have messaged me on LinkedIn because I have a lot of followers on LinkedIn because I used to be in business development. I had a food company, so I built up like a big following on there, like talking about business and but even though whatever. And now I talk about my plasma stuff and a lot of people started adding me who were in, government and in the tech industries and in other countries who were just like into physics and a bunch of different things. And then I started getting messages just in the last few months of certain people telling me that there's going to, and we'll see, right? This is just what I'm being told is there's going to be more and more information coming out about plasma, and it's already starting to happen if you look into it. I mean, it's literally been happening. The time, divine timing is blah, because if this book came out 5 years ago, no one would care. But yeah,
Right.
there's going to be more and more coming out about plasma and its links to consciousness, and its magical uses and its futuristic uses, and um, I would also caution people to, there's going to be also a lot of people who are saying very bad stuff about plasma because plasma is the most reflective substance. So it's going to be like on steroids of polarities. That's also why my book I feel like is important because it's going to kind of ground all those and remind everyone, hey, this is just another thing where the power is going to be outside of you, and you're going to be told that, and you hold the power. The individual holds the power, and you can harmonize with plasma. You don't need a machine. You don't need a person. You don't need my course, but you do what resonates with you. But I really will say this, even if it would hurt me making money, I don't really care. Like anyone can learn and work with plasma. All you have to do is meditate and ask it, set an intention, say, I would like to connect with you, and you'll go off to the races. I call it
Mhm.
intention is intention dash ion, just like a question is quest
Mhm.
dash ion. So anything with the word ion, plasma is an ionized gas. When you set an intention, plasma's going to respond. So, yeah, no one needs me. I just wrote an awesome book and hopefully but none of us need anyone is what I'm trying to say. Like those times of putting spiritual people on pedestals are fucking fading. And like I love them. I hope they still make money. I've learned so much from them. But as far as like them having perfect lives, absolutely not. Like as far as them being enlightened, are you sure? Like I don't know. Like come on.
Have you gotten any pushback, like of anybody coming at you?
Yeah, a
That's how
lot.
you know you're on the right track.
Yeah. So I've gotten in the beginning, I mean, this sounds nuts, but like I've gotten like, threats. I had people in maybe they pretended to be in the government. Who knows if they were actually in the government, but they were like, be careful. Like I had a lot of people tell me to be careful. And then that started I will say though, like as I started once again healing myself and getting out of the resonance of that kind of paranoid conspiracy talk. I
Hmm.
had less and less people tell me to be careful, and more people telling me, oh, this is the right time for this. You would be dead 10 years ago. And I know that sounds absolutely
Wow.
ridiculous, but I kind of do think that. But here's the thing with that and with people, when your conspiracy is a resonance and it's a distraction. And as I love a good conspiracy, but think about it. If how much secrets the government has. If they wanted you to know something, you would know. We don't have the nuclear codes, but we know their conspiracies. Like, no, guys. Like, you know what they want you to know. And that's just being honest. I'm not trying to be a freak here. But my point is with that, if you concentrate on conspiracies all day, every day, that's just you not being embodied in yourself and you not looking at your life. And I've been there. I was a conspiracy fanatic about like 7 years ago. I almost bought like an underground bunker. And I'm not saying there aren't real conspiracies. I'm just saying it's once again power outside yourself and another distraction and a wolf you're feeding that is stealing the joy from life. And when I was in that space, I would get a lot of warnings about my book and plasma and that I shouldn't ever put this out. The second I stopped resonating with that, all those people, those scary, people fell away. And now, yes, there's some trolls here and there, but for the most part, it's really pleasant things now. So once again, I don't know if I just like resonated differently and now I'm on like as crazy as this sounds, a new timeline where like plasma is accepted. But if you were talking to me 2 years ago, I would have told you I was literally scared for my life. But that's not to say that like I don't still get some fears because, when you're doing something that's going to help humanity on such a big scale, it can be threatening. But the truth is if I really was if this wasn't meant to be out right now, I wouldn't be here and this wouldn't be out. Like I
Right,
can't control that. So my point is, who cares? Like I'm just gonna enjoy my life and
right,
speak
right,
what I
right.
want to speak. Like why would you let anyone silence you? That's what everyone wants. That's what when you're talking about the thing coming through the mouth and talking, like those thoughts, that energy comes through people. They come through bullies, they come through trolls, they come through messages. It's the same fear-based living. And if you don't resonate with that, you can just live a amazing, fun life.
Mm.
Yeah.
So like what we were talking about before of our whatever our
So that is like projected
projection.
outwards in people. So, but it's not just my fear, it's the collective fear. And if I'm not in fear, I'm not going to resonate with the collective fear. So I'll get, less warnings and less threats and yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of a inventor called Maxwell Chikambutsu?
No, I was about to say yes, but I actually don't know that one. What is
He's
that?
he's from Zimbabwe, and he came up with this. Uh, and he's not the only one. Tesla was doing it too, but he
Oh,
sort of was
yes.
harnessing energy from the ether.
Plasma. Plasma.
Right. So I'm
Tesla
thinking,
harness
so
plasma.
so he has like TVs. He has a car that runs on just, and you don't have to get. So you don't have to plug it in or nothing. He's
Yeah.
getting energy from. He said he had a dream about it.
Yes.
And that's what he, anyway, but he was poisoned. I mean, he lived, but he's
Yeah.
poisoned. And he's made these cars and he's made televisions and he had like
Yeah, yeah.
helicopter that flies. And for some reason, when I first saw your plasma thing, I was like, I bet you that's up where this guy's getting this energy from.
So I'm so intuitive of you. I'll speak on two things. I'll speak on the people dying from plasma because that's a real thing, and I will speak on it because it's undeniable, and that is why I was scared in the beginning. And I'll tell you why I'm different than that, or this time is different than that. And then I'll tell you, but specifically why people like him get targeted. And I'll also tell you, so Nikola Tesla, I write this in my book, and the right guy that made the Rife machine, Orgone Energy, Randall Carlson, and the Thunderstorm
Right.
generator. They're all working with plasma. Back in the day, back then with Tesla, they called it radiant matter. Google it, it's plasma. And then Tesla said he discovered something called radiant energy. That is something no one wants you to know about. And that's kind of what I was telling you, the difference between plasma and this energy we put out. So he was harnessing the energy, and that's kind of, when his stuff started getting sabotaged. And we don't technically have anything publicly using that right now. And I am not messing with that because I do want to live. And like, I'm happy right now with people just learning stuff about, because here, I'll tell you the truth too. So, so people in the past, it's no secret. I even put a TikTok about this and it got taken down. There's like over 10 people who got killed because of plasma in like the last 50 years who were doing stuff like Rife and Tesla, or they got sabotaged, or they disappeared, or they started working for the Department of Defense. That's literally researchable. And I write about some of this in my book. I try not to focus too much on it because once again, it feeds that fear wolf. But why people get in trouble is because it is a matter of national security. You are using weapons of mass destruction. Like, when you have plasma like that, you can do good and bad. But and that's just the truth. I mean, that's why we shouldn't be using nuclear fusion, and that's the only thing I'll say about that. And I don't think we should be using that because we are trapping. We'll never have nuclear fusion. I'll put a couple hundred thou on it that will never have nuclear fusion. There's plasma turbulence because plasma is having emotions. Plasma doesn't want to be harnessed like that unicorn. We're not going to do that. What we can have free energy the way in other ways that aren't harmful to the earth or are going to kill a bunch of people if a plant blows up. And the second the government, and I think they are realizing this, by the way, this is why I feel comfortable saying this because I've spoken to other people who are interested in, talking to me about these things. They're realizing that plasma, they're kind of beating a dead horse, but they put so much money into it. I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this. And now they're kind of like, I think, starting to work more with like, Tesla kind of vibe stuff. And I think we're going to see more and more of that. But I think, it's just ego and embarrassment that they put so much money into fusion. But, here they are still trying to do it. And then, yeah, so anyway, that's why I think the people got killed because, and here's the other thing. This is why I don't mess with that because that's just not my lane. The channelings I have is that we're meant to what we're really supposed to do with plasma because when you're working with plasma and technology like machines, that's more of like I hate saying this word, but like a patriarchal view of like harnessing or controlling or capturing. Plasma wants to be a feedback system. It wants to give back as we give back to it. And we have to come up with like solar punk or like optimistic, futuristic kind of ways to harmonize with plasma energy. And she will give our gifts to us. And we are going to have sustainable organic technologies that can actually also interface with our consciousness. That is not metal, that is not in conscious AI. I'm talking about something completely different. And that will happen, I think, in our lifetime. And I think people are realizing that they have to make a shift. And I see that even happening in government, and structures being built, kind of more secretly right now. But everything I'm saying will come out very soon. So, like, I'm not saying anything that's top secret that I'll get in trouble for. Um, and I
Hmm.
don't work with the government conspiracy theorists. And I wouldn't even if they offered me because I want to do my own. But the point is, no one, they don't care about me because I'm just teaching people what we naturally are supposed to do, which is harmonize with plasma with our consciousness. And eventually, what we're going to do is be able to materialize things on our own. In our lifetime, I don't know. Maybe if enough of us do it, it'll reach a critical mass point where we can do that really fun stuff. But I just see it starting with like healing ourselves and each other. I see it with co-creating reality and having more joyful lives. I see it with hopefully war diminishing and us realizing the humanity in each other, and that certain religious beliefs that actually hurt people are made from fear, not from God's channelings, and then being able to separate those two, and us respecting all religions and just getting rid of the human hurting part. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that.
I feel like you just answered the question that I asked earlier about how do you see this changing or
Oh, yeah,
creating the new human, and you just kind of described it.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. That's more, yeah, the more of the futuristic stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
I just have one more I just one thing. I'm just kind of curious about some of the stuff you're
Yeah.
saying is making me
It's all in my book. Well, some of it is.
well, how is well, one thing I think that if you're harnessing energy, and I think corporations kind of like who are focused on who are making multi-billions on
Yeah,
energy,
oil
sort
and
of
gas.
yeah, and you sort of come up with a new way that could sort of threaten
Yeah.
their existence. I think maybe they're the one that want you
I was gonna
on.
say it's not just the government either. And there's
Yeah,
a great people in the government too, and then there's evil. It's like every field. There's
right, right.
not even evil, fear. But yeah, no, you're right. And I've thought about that too. Yeah, 100%.
Mm. But I digressed a little bit, but
Oh yeah.
I know this seems like a weird question, but
Yeah.
so the plasma in your blood, is that the same plasma?
Oh. Yes and no. So in science, no. In science, there's scientific plasma, like we were talking about, like a fourth state of matter, ionized gas, and then there's blood plasma.
Hmm.
Blood plasma is, I don't know how much percentage, but a certain percentage of your blood. So there's like, and your, I go in this my book with blood and iron. I'm not going to go on a tangent right now. I'm going to stick with it. So I believe,
But do
I don't
whatever
think
you want, by the way.
okay. Well, I don't want to sound too cray, but like,
Okay.
so yes, there's like the thicker blood or whatever. I don't know the right way to say it. So let me just Google blood plasma. I want to say the percentages. Hold on, because this is actually interesting. Yeah, so there's 92% water, 7% proteins, electrolytes, hormones, antibodies. Blood plasma is the liquid component of blood that carries various substances throughout the body. It's 55% of your blood. So, what I find interesting about this is, and I go into this in my book, once again, plasma is a name and a behavior. So, as above, so below. Our blood plasma is the reason that is our connection to everything. Our blood is iron, just like the stars and the iron outside of us. And I go into this in my book. We are stars, we are human stars. And our blood is way more important than we think. And that's why they used it in rituals. Then it got kind of twisted into like some black magic stuff. Like, but there are certain rituals like, this is going to sound gross, but women used to use their period blood to grow plants. But that's like a good way of using blood.
I mean, it is a lot of iron and
Yeah,
minerals.
yeah, but there's magic. There was magic in women's blood because that was the
Um,
symbol that was going to make a baby that didn't and comes out of her. So there's like magical properties of that, I think people might work with that too. Anyway, that's like a weird subject. People are going to start saying I'm in the Illuminati. I'm not saying to do magic with blood. I actually don't think you should do that. And I've never done that. But my point is it is our magic and our magic blood and we don't need my point here is you actually the ancestors probably that we needed to use it, we don't. It makes we're a plasma machine and it pumps through our heart. Our heart's a plasma pump. Our plasma connects us with our bioplasma, which connects us with the outer plasma. And I think it's just actually the liquid plasma of this plasma that they haven't named that yet. Like,
um,
so I believe it's how for instance, when you get in a car accident, your body, everything slows down. Your consciousness works different. I think our blood plasma lets us go into that survival mode and make decisions that aren't logic. What other brain is there? Like it's a whole system. And if you look into it, plasma is even cell membranes have a plasma membrane. There's all plasma membranes everywhere. Look all in the human body. There's cytoplasm in the cell. It's these interstitial fluids that transport, that help communication. It does exactly what plasma does. Like I'm saying, it helps us communicate with consciousness. It transports energy. So anyway, it has the same properties and it's another aspect of the plasma I speak of. Plasma's everything, but there's space plasma and then there's blood plasma and then there's bioplasma around us. So yeah, it's just another,
so it takes on different forms.
yeah,
If how do we know
the
that plasma?
transmuter.
What's that?
Sorry, I was just going to connect it. It's like Hermes, like the great transmuter.
Oh, the
There's a lot with
transmitter.
that. Yeah, anyway, go ahead, go ahead.
How do we know that plasma is not consciousness?
Okay, so I can't say like sure there's margin for error anywhere, but like I feel very strongly that plasma is not consciousness, and I'll tell you why.
Hmm.
So picture consciousness like a talking head, right? It's our where here's consciousness. If this is like a masculine view, I'm just saying patriarchal view. If everything's consciousness, if everything is mind, where's the body? Where's the female? Where's the mirror? So we'd all be talking at each other. How's consciousness experiencing itself if everything's consciousness? There's consciousness and there's plasma. There's a duality. Just like you have a child with a mother and father, you need the mirror to experience your visual self. You need that screen to interface with reality.
So
So,
consciousness uses plasma
in a
in
multitude of ways.
in a multiple. Okay,
Yeah,
plasma.
hold on, wait, I'll tell you more. My phone's going up. Let me turn it off. So like, sorry. So, there's plasma in my framework, there's plasma and there's consciousness, and
Mm,
it's like the mother and father, and then there's awareness, which other people call consciousness, which may be what you're thinking of, which is like, awareness, the divine child, higher consciousness, multidimensional self.
hmm.
That uses consciousness and plasma to create our experience of reality.
Got it.
But there's definitely not just all consciousness. But if you're saying like everything's awareness, and some people say that consciousness is that, yes, I think that can just get confusing.
Oh,
Like,
I
yeah,
think I was curious about that because plasma takes on different forms and plasma is multi-dimensional. So I
it
was
is.
thinking, well, what if on the in other dimensional,
Hmm.
like what if it's also the consciousness that ex
Well,
interacts with the this dimension of plasma?
I
Does that
see what
make
you're
sense?
saying. So, like, at least the way I understand it, and once again, it's different for everyone. So you could have a different view in your head. So I wouldn't take what I'm saying as like the final thing, but because other people have different names, and like I can't know what you see in your head, but the way I see it in my head, in
Mm.
this higher space, where maybe you could call the fifth dimensional space, or where our multidimensional selves or God is, or emergent energy, they're still dualities of energy, but they're very finely different. Like they're almost the same, and it's like a mist. So there's like consciousness mist and plasma mist, and we're all up there as little individual consciousnesses, but we're also a collective. But we still have our individuality. And then we're still using this plasma mist to create fun little crystal worlds up there. And
Mm.
then down here, it's just more separated. But I really think I feel this in my soul that at a level there's still, but it's still a combined thing. It feels more combined up there, and I think that's what our world is almost turning into, but very slow over millions of years. Like eventually, that will kind of merge with this, and it's all gonna. That's like kind of what's happening now is it's all coming together.
Mm.
That's why, like, you could call plasma conscious in a way because our collective unconscious is plasma's consciousness. Because if consciousness is a river in plasma, you could say plasma's conscious with our collective consciousness. But,
Yeah.
and you can also say it's conscious because these multidimensional selves or God is working through it. I mean, I even, when I call plasma neutral with some benevolence, it kind of means it's, but I just don't like using the word conscious because it muddies it a little bit. And it's like, I don't know if that's the right word. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know how to say
Yes,
it.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And it's also such a new frontier to we don't
Yeah,
even have the language for all of it. So I get it.
exactly.
Like the is your tele if you're speaking through your phone, is your phone conscious or you the one speaking through it, the conscious one?
Oh, I see what
The
you're
phone
saying.
is just a tool,
Yeah,
but if you had a lower understanding of this technology, you'd be like,
yeah.
this thing talks to me.
Yes.
You know what
That's
I
what
mean?
I think plasma's kind of, that's a good like metaphor for plasma a little bit.
Yeah. I got it. Okay. Thank you so much for doing this, by the way. This is
Yeah.
amazing, man.
Yeah. That was a fun conversation. It's one of the best interviews I've had.
It's what?
One of the best interviews I've had.
Oh,
Or well, not interviews, like talks. One of the best
yeah,
talks I've
yeah.
had.
No, because it's you've gathered so much information and you have a lot to share with the world. It's exciting. What's your hope? I have one more question for you.
Yeah, I'm not in a rush. You're fine.
Oh, okay. Well, I do have, well, what's your hope for d- with this discovery and all that stuff, all the stuff's coming. What would be your hope for humanity? And how do you see plasma interacting with it?
Yeah. Sorry, my dog. My dog always likes to barge in. My hope for humanity. Should I wait until she's done or should I can talk, right?
I can't even
Can you
hear
hear
it.
me? Okay, you
Yeah.
can. Okay, you can.
Yeah.
Um, the first word that comes to mind for my hope for humanity is literally just the word fun. Like I just want myself and people to have more fun. And I'm saying that from a person that needs to have more fun. Like I think we've lost that joy and the real meaning of life. And the meaning of life is relative for everyone, but I think an undercurrent of something we maybe need to reclaim in our lives is joy and fun. Um, that's the number one thing I want for humanity because I think that will shepherd compassion and connection and magic and a better world. Like, does a joyous person hurt another person? So,
Mm,
and you can still be in joy and be grieving. Like when I lost, my dad, I was grieving, but I was in joy at the same time. Like weird. Like it's just when you have a high perspective of things. And I wasn't in joy all the time. But my point is, yeah. So that I'm just gonna leave it at that.
yeah. I also have one I have another thing.
Yeah,
For
I
some
love
reason
answering questions.
this popped into my head for some reason. Like uh did you how did you really get past the drug addict for
Yeah.
phase? What do you think that
Yeah.
was?
Yeah, interesting. So from age 14 to 21, I was doing cocaine like every day, drinking like I would say like 3 to 4 times a week, like binge drinking. Like I don't know how I'm alive to be completely honest, or not in jail, just with the amount of things I was doing. And when I tried to get sober when I was 16, the second I got back with an old boyfriend and started drinking again. And then when I got sober at 21, the second I left a 9 month rehab, I relapsed right away, right? So it's like, I do talk about this a little, and I actually would love to touch on this subject in the future because I'm very passionate about addiction. I think the way we're handling addiction is broken. And what really got me long term off using cocaine. I'm trying to think if I want to share this. I think I will share this. So, what got, I'll share it. What got me off using cocaine long term, and I'll explain a caveat to this, was connection with myself, with purpose with myself, with not wanting to die, with thinking I was meant to be here. Like I with it's so many things and it's a mystery and I've had so many people die from addiction and we can't explain why some people get sober and some people get it and some people don't. And I think it's just up to the individual. It's just like spirituality. It's like you kind of have to rise and meet, God halfway. Like I realized that I was either going to die after like a certain situation I was in, or I was going to have to meet, my fate or destiny halfway and like pick myself up and like choose to not drink every day. And sometimes, obviously, to get out of drinking, you need detox or rehab because you can't just go cold turkey. But I did in my last time. And the reason that I did that was because I ended up, in a trap house in Hollywood, Florida, being, taken advantage of. And the guy drove me home and he was, 20 years older than me, drives me home at like 7 in the morning. I didn't know what happened. I was just like, if this is gonna be my life, I was like, what am I doing? Like, and I was like 21 and a half. And then I will share this. When I'm not in the midst of men in rejection. I had one lapse with cocaine in my late 20s or early 30. I can't remember which one. And it was because a guy rejected me. And that was like, but that's like, and people go through relapse. And listen, I didn't die. It happened once and I had the awareness that because sometimes they beat into you if you relapse, it's over for you. Like I knew I'd be okay. But I had that bad night because someone rejected me. I went out very uncharacteristically of me, and it was before I was in therapy doing all this stuff. And I did that, and then the next day I picked myself up and I had compassion for myself. Anyway, I think it's a system of many things, but I think right now, and I'll happy to get into it another time, like the way we deal with addicts is broken. But yes, I think that actually stuff with my plasma and feeling connected to something and knowing your thoughts aren't truth can help a lot of people who really ruin their lives and go too far. And then there's some luck too. Like I could have died. What if I had one bad night? What if there was fentanyl in that and, I died? Like there's some just mystery to it. But yeah, that hopefully I answered the question.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
It's funny because it's almost like you have maybe I feel like you have a purpose because it's like, why didn't you not? It's like
I should have.
somebody or some plan wanted you to still be here.
Yes, and maybe that was me, right? And maybe it was the plasma, but I do agree actually because there were so many times where I should have died. Even like how I was born, like my birth father got struck by lightning 2 months before I was conceived. Plasma, he got struck by plasma. I came down here in plasma. It's my origin story. And then he met my mom he was on spring training for like baseball in South Carolina. Met my mom. They slept together once, never saw each other again, and she got pregnant with me. So that was a impossible miracle. And then hopefully she's okay with me sharing this, but she flew all the way to like Kentucky to have a late term abortion because her family is religious and she was gonna, and I think someone wanted her to. And then the day I was supposed to get aborted, her grandma died and her grandma wanted her to keep me. And then she decided to cancel the abortion and then had me and decided to give me up for adoption instead. So, and then of course all the times I almost died on using drugs and going to the hospital and stuff. But yeah, I think you're right. And I will say I think the only reason I actually survived is because I listened to that gut voice instead of this voice that I should die and I shouldn't be here. I listened to my gut saying, keep going. Like something really good's gonna happen. It might not happen for a long time, but you know, so
Yeah, no wonder there's so much intensity to your message because in some spiritual arenas they say that when you go through things like you have gone through, it's kind of like then the transition is so much more impactful and intense. It's like a slingshot, they talk about the
yes.
they you pull it back.
Yeah.
The further you pull it, the more you stretch that back, the further it
Yeah.
propels out,
Oh God, I hope so.
and it's yours sound a lot like that. The other thing that popped into my head is like when you were talking about going through the relapse,
Hmm.
is that I was like, wow, rejection is such a big theme in your life, from
Hmm.
birth to now.
Hmm.
Every
Yeah.
time you get rejected, and it could be past lives.
Yeah.
I don't know. You said you have visions of your past lives. I don't know enough
Many.
about past lives, but I know that if there are past lives and you sort of it's there's a culmination of remembering. So if you were
Hmm.
burned to the stake for having information, it's kind of
Hmm.
gonna affect you wanting some of your fears. Sometimes I have fears. I was like, this fear seems
Where is this from?
yeah, like water, like I'm drowning, and I was like, this
Yeah.
feels. I've never been in danger of drowning in this life.
Yeah.
So where is this coming? Where is that much intensity coming
I've had
from?
that too.
So I don't know if I don't know enough about it, but I feel like
Mhm.
I know enough to be curious about the possibilities.
Well, it sounds like you're talking about it because I mean that's exactly like I have a fear of water, and it was because I was actually kidnapped in a past life. I was like some prince. I wouldn't even say princess because that's me making it up. But like I had this like princess looking bed, and I was somewhere where these like pirate people came in and took me, and then they tossed me overboard, and I was in this sandbag, and I started drowning, and I went through my death in remembering this through a meditation.
Wow.
Yeah, and like I still won't go in the ocean even after feeling that. So yeah, I think I have had a lot of lifetimes and like I just don't want to sound I think I hopefully it's obvious I'm not narcissistic, but like I will say like I have a message in my heart that like I meant to do something important and I won't die like every other life. But I have to tell myself that every day because the th fear of dying for speaking my truth is extremely strong. And and thank God that like I don't know what in me makes me courageous enough to like write books and like tell the truth. But I
Mm.
guess see, here's the thing. If I wasn't bullied, I wouldn't be so used to people not liking me anyway for telling the truth, so I wouldn't have been able to do it. It's like that's just been my life, so I have nothing to lose. Like,
Mm.
what am I, like so my life happened perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the perfect culmination to create this person now.
Yeah, that's why it's so beautiful though, and I want to tell I also think if I didn't reach the darkest depths, even still, like paranoia from thinking I'm gonna get killed. Like, how many people can relate to that and don't say it because they're scared they'll be medicated? Like, if I wasn't in these dark depths, how could I help people get out of them? Like,
Right.
and like I try to tell myself that, but there's also martyrdom, and I have to remind myself I don't need to still have a hard life to help people. Like I put in my dues. I didn't deserve any of that, and now I can have a blessed life. I don't have to sacrifice my life to help people. I can be me and let my message help people. I don't have to work every day at promoting my book or traveling the world to like, bless people with plasma. Like I got the message and other people need to hear this too. Like, no, be me. Like if I want to make a movie to make a movie, write a fiction book, like I don't have to be stuck in anything just because I made this book. Like let the message be how I'm living. And I think it's more for everyone here because some of us like bend over backwards day after day thinking we have to be this martyr for humanity. And the best way to help humanity is to be yourself and take care of yourself.
Right. Live an authentic life, like you said.
Yeah. And empower others. Like I hope my book empowers others. I don't want people to feel dependent on me. I've had so many spiritual people where I feel dependent on. It's like then it's another thing outside yourself.
Hmm.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it's another version of being a born again, Bible
yeah.
being born again Christian. Not
Hmm.
that there's anything wrong with those people, but I'm saying like,
Well, no, it's like it's not just born again Christian though. It's like someone having a vision. For instance, I had a vision. I have many visions. One of my visions was this is like 4 years ago. I've had a few monkeys come to me and they drop keys down my throat. It's like a weird vision I have, and they're like different knowledge pieces. And one of them told me I was the Princess of Nazareth. And right, so I could have gone full blown spiritual bypass with that and been like, I'm Jesus reincarnated, or Mary Magdalene, I'm Jesus of Nazareth. And I had thank God I had the wherewithal and grounding to know that was just a mythological story, and it comes through to a lot of people that are told they're Jesus and God. they're told that because everyone is God, everyone's a mini God, everyone's special, everyone has this power within them. And I knew it was just a mythological encasing of plasma, and the certain symbols were I decoded from my own mythology, but it meant nothing as far as who I am to humanity or who I am to someone else. And that's where people get it wrong. They think they're Jesus and they're the only one. And I hope that
Oh.
they can read my book and like it grounded back down to earth and realize that's not the message and they haven't figured out reality. Like all of us just have our own puzzle piece and it helps a certain amount of people
Right. And then we had our, I guess, is it our ego? We have a tendency to want to exalt ourselves above.
or below.
Yeah, that's true. Or when we're self-deprecating, we want to. I have a question.
Yeah.
Why do you think plasma, this information, it sounds just like new information, but why do you think it would be threatening? Because you said like your life threatened, it's life-threatening information, or
I don't think it is now, but I think I could have thought it was because so many people like have mysteriously died working with plasma. But I think because I'm working with it as far as like consciousness and not like making a machine, I don't think
oh,
it will be. But I think also there's a stereotype like Bob Marley, John Lennon, Martin Luther King. So many art music artists and people, John F. Kennedy, people in history, Giordano Bruno, people who have spoken out and gotten killed for speaking out. And I think a lot of us attach to that and think because we're trying to unite humanity, we're going to get killed. But what I have to fight myself when I attach to that belief system is yes, that happened. And that could happen, and I have no control over that. But then there's 10 people to that one person who did follow their dreams and unite and help humanity. And it's like I'm choosing to believe in the one negative over the 10 people who did continue to live long lives and help unite humanity in some way. So I think, like, once again, that's, a very nuanced thing, and a lot of us have to kind of zoom out, and I can get stuck in that too. And that's once again martyrdom. Like, I don't need to believe that I'm going to get killed for helping humanity. Like, because
yeah,
then that's what makes it happen.
you know the rapper Tupac Shakur.
And him too. And him too. He was a genius.
But I was gonna say something that I think was
Oh,
about his life. He wasn't, he was a guy that he wasn't really a gangster. He went to Juilliard. He got admitted in Juilliard as a teenager, like a drama school. He's an
yeah.
actor. But he
Yeah.
started hanging out once he started rapping, and it's like what we do. He wanted to be an actor, but
Yeah.
this gangster rap thing's now my way
To get
in
him.
and
Yeah.
to get out there. So, but it's an act. He said I saw him say a quote. He said that, actually nothing bad has ever happened to me until I started rapping about it. Like the cops
Yeah. He
being
brought it
shot
in.
at, all that stuff. Once he started rapping about it,
Yeah.
he started living it. And
That's what I'm saying.
so it's kind of like what you're saying. You start creating the self-fulfilling prophecy
When you
of,
give in to the fear,
yeah, or you start thinking this is like they might try to get me for this or
and then
whatever.
they will.
Yeah, and then it's back to what we're saying again.
Yeah.
We keep our anxiety or our positivity, our optimism is creating or magnetizing our life, our like life experiences.
Yes. And I want to build on what you said with Tupac is this is where patience comes in. And this is where I think I had a lot of luck because I got rejected and protected a lot, and he didn't have that luxury. When you think you can make it quick and choose that archetype to put yourself in, just like the spiritual thing, lasts a few years, you either end up dead or crazy. My point is, if he just lasted a few more years following his true north of what I could tell he really wanted to do, help humanity with his genius, he
Hmm.
would have went in a whole different path. And unfortunately, his choices didn't lead him there. But my point is to everyone, be patient with your gifts. Don't force and manifest timing. And this is when we go back to what you were saying about wanting the role and stuff. It's like there's a bigger plan and you can co-create with that plan and you have free will to take it over. But sometimes you got to sit back and let your multidimensional self and all that energy surprise you. And if something's not working, don't try to fit it. Don't say, oh, it's not working. I'm going to try and manifest harder. Shame on me. Let it go. And you'll know if you should let it go because it's like a pulling in your head versus like a calm. Like if you're following something that's calm and you want to manifest it, never give up. But if you're following something that makes you like, ow, that makes you like, ah, that's how I felt about me acting. Like it wasn't, I still love improv and I think I'll do that one day. I think I'll be in like a little cameo or something. But like that wasn't where I was meant to be. And because I had a vision of being famous my whole life, I thought I was supposed to act. And I just know if I kept going down that path, it would have been a very dark path. And thank God I didn't make some decisions like certain people, like women maybe do in the industry, but like and they make those out of fear. But it's like I still was working with a producer who, for instance, we would go out to lunch. I had a boyfriend. We go out to lunch and all he would talk about was like how sex is power and he has all this money and he can help me and he's a Scientologist or his parents are Scientologists and it's like and then that motherfucker stole $50,000 from my investor and he was like such a dark person and like I knew it and I just sat with him because I wanted to be famous. Like I'll admit that and I know a lot of people have had those experiences and it's like you lose your free will. So anyway, I'm just so glad I had those things happen and I was rejected left and right. And I was so frustrated then. But my point is like to anyone, if you're having those times, like it's two things. It's either keep going, once again, if you're calm and like, it's your soul dream. But if it is like an ego thing or like maybe mismatch, like you really got to get honest with yourself and maybe make some new choices or just slow the F down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dana Kipple, tell us the title of your book
Oh,
again.
sure. It's a new force, plasma consciousness, and the new human potential.
Thank you so much for talking to me. And
Thank you.
this was a lot of like information. Like I have to look at this again and just absorb all of it. But
Yeah.
you're a force to be reckoned with,
Oh my God.
and you're legit, man.
Oh my God. Thank you.
Don't let
I know.
nobody tell you any different.
Thank you. Do you always wonder that before you interview people? Or are you like,
Hmm?
I don't know, let's see if they're what I think.
No, I kind of go with my instincts, and
Okay.
I actually feel like everybody has information to give. Everybody's
I
here.
do
Like I
too.
don't I don't underestimate anybody. If it's a 4-year-old, you know what I
Same.
mean?
No, same. Or like
Everybody's
following or not. Yeah.
yeah, everybody's channel. But I know like I always worry about what sometimes when it's women
Hmm.
I mean and you're a young, beautiful woman, so it's kind of
Yeah.
like a lot of times people just they think, well, you've already got an attribute. You
I I've been judged. There's a lot of things I haven't. I mean, I'll just be super honest because I think other people relate to this too, and no one says it, and then we get
yeah.
stopped because I know. But I think a lot of women, and this really happens.
Hmm.
I either don't get on certain shows or podcasts, or like even like gain friendship with certain men because their wives don't want them to because if I was a wife I wouldn't either but the thing is like I'm not that kind of person but you can assume things by how maybe someone looks or something without seeing like if you saw me talking you probably wouldn't be threatened at all but like if you saw I don't know anyway I think that has happened but not that much or like people just assume you're like stupid or like yeah I don't know just really annoying things but hopefully that hasn't happened to me recently so like
I don't think that's going to happen. I think the feminine people are kind of aware, whether
changing.
they want to admit it or not, they're aware of the feminine energy has risen. People say it's rising. No, it has risen.
Yeah,
And we realize like we've been ignoring like 52% of the population,
I know.
half the time or underestimating that. And I don't think people are I think that the reading the room, as they say, read the womb. No, read,
Yeah,
read the, read
the
the,
plasma.
read the plasma. I think we're getting like, okay, we
Have
were
more.
wrong about this, and we should pay attention. And a
Yeah.
lot of times when someone's, like I was saying that I hope you don't. But what I've found is like my female friends that
Mhm.
it's not even the men doubting them, but they doubting themselves, or they're because. Where even it happens with other minorities that you're
Yeah.
used to hearing good information or smart information or
From educated
from a
people, it's
certain group and they look a certain way.
yeah,
And so when someone's outside that group, they feel like I better be on my P's and Q's or I better prove myself. And it's like
yeah.
I feel like that's done now. We're like,
So glad.
unless you're like an idiot, you're like, look,
Yeah.
good information's coming out of whoever and wherever.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
I don't have to wear a business suit. I'm so glad because part
No.
of me was so scared that I would have to do my hair or like change my outfits and like I just like being me. So I'm so glad that it's embraced more and
Yeah.
that I can talk. Like I once had this female producer tell me, "You sound really stupid. You're gonna have to really sound like an adult if you want people to take you seriously." And I was like, "No, I don't." I listened to my inner gut. I was like, "I don't think that's true. I think that's what you think about yourself, and that's sad."
Yeah.
But my point is, yeah, I just that's once again going back to the point of just being yourself and what the fuck ever.
Authenticity. This is what I love about TikTok. I'm not on TikTok,
Hmm.
but I love the idea of
Yeah.
TikTok and a lot of these because that sort of medium is more like it's non-formal
Yeah.
and authenticity, people are all over. Like I look at my nephews and them who are like 17 and 18.
Mhm.
Anything that's authentic, they're all over it. But anything that
Uh,
seems too like
they can
someone's
tell.
put together, they don't ju they just kind of tune out on it
Yeah.
because it seems to like politicians and stuff like that with
Oh
their
God.
they're not even paying attention to it. They don't even
It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Both sides, guys. It's all fucking
exactly.
bullshit. They
Yeah.
all go to dinner while we're fighting.
And because I'm in acting, I see bad acting all over the place. Like I used to
Yeah.
audition a lot of people. I felt like it's taught me so much. And every time I see a bad audition, when I see a speech and I go, oh, this doesn't feel authentic, and I move on.
Yeah. No, same. Literally same.
Yeah. But
Mm.
thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for having me. This has been a lovely time, and I'm happy to do a part two anytime.
Oh yeah, definitely.
This
Because then
is
the
a great
book's
book.
coming out like
Yeah.
as we're speaking now, the book's coming out in a few days. It's gonna be
Oh, yes. September, I don't know when this comes out, but when your podcast will show, but the book is out September 9th. You can find it. I should have done this before. You could find it on Amazon.com and just search A New Force. But first, go to my website, danakipple.com. You can find it there. I have signed copies and the Amazon links. And then my social media, Instagram, Dana.thealien, and my TikTok at Dana Kipple. And I do have two more of these coming. I'm not going to rush and get them done, but I have two more books in my mind plus some other surprises.
wow. So you have a 700-page book
Mhm.
and you're like, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
I split it into three. Yeah, there's I'll give a sneak peek because I've already spoken about this. There's a book called Holonic Metadynamics, which is basically just like a new kind of science, like a holistic way of kind of like for instance, I view a photon as like a having three parts instead of one. So it's just like getting more sciencey but metaphysical. I don't know when I'll do that book. But it's kind of what I'm saying, like the new kind of systems for the future versus like just straight up math that normal humans can understand and work with. And
Yeah.
then there'll be a book about the working title is Your Magic Toolbox, but it's like more about plasma magic and how to work with plasma. Even though my book, A New Force, does talk about it, there's a lot I'm still experimenting with. And then
Mhm.
I'll write it when I'm ready.
So are you currently downloading this information or is it like because I see some of these people that channel. I'm about
Yeah.
to have a channeler in my podcast,
Oh, whoa.
but like so you saying are you is that how you get the information? Because you seem confident as far as like how many more aspects of the book are going to be coming out, how many
Yeah, I wouldn't call it. So a lot of people do call it channeling, but for me, it's like the information's there already. I know it. Like as I said, like all of a sudden I just had access to it like 5 years ago,
Mm.
but it's there as a seed or as a blueprint, and then I get to co-create with it as like human Dana, and then like put my spin on it and bring it into the world how I want. But it's like future Dana's giving me it, but then I can change it if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
I'm trying to remember this mathematician,
I wonder who.
Ramanujan. Have you ever heard of this guy? He
What does he do?
no, he doesn't, I don't think he's around anymore, but he was this amazing mathematician. He was in this poor town in India
Huh.
And then there's a movie about him with Dev Patel, by the way. It's
Oh,
Ramanujan. I might be butchering the name. I hope
Google.
not.
Uh-huh.
Um, and he's sort of like
Oh,
this
I see.
one of the best mathematicians ever. And they asked him, "Oh, how do you know all this stuff?" And he goes, "The stars."
That's what the plasma. Plasma
He
stars.
was getting information, but but solving complex mathematical equations and stuff like that. And he said, "Oh yeah, it's like
I can do that too. I used to do that. So I'm not going to talk about it much, but like I had like I have an incredible brain for math. I just don't do it because it doesn't bring me joy right now, but like when I was younger, I got like 103 average in math. Like I fucking love math. But I agree with him because this is the same for me. It's not my logical brain. There's an understanding and you just get equations or like you just it's like, oh God, I don't know how to explain it, but like, yeah, it's whatever you're saying. Like,
you tap
it
into the
doesn't come
frequency."
from here.
Yeah, it's like you mentioned Abraham Hicks before, and
Hmm.
she mentions that how like it's like a radio station.
Hmm.
So you when you're at 96.3, you tap in, you get all the information from
Yeah,
that. But if
yeah,
you're on 100 and 106.7,
get it.
you're not going to get that information from 92.3.
No, I love Abraham Hicks, and that's I guess the way I can put it is like I feel like once again there is nuance. I'm curious what you think about this. Like, obviously, I didn't decide I was going to like math, right, as a kid, but all of a sudden I
Right.
just knew it in class. Like, I didn't have to study. And, it's not like I was a genius savant. Like, I had to study history. I didn't get straight A's. Where I wasn't interested in, I did terrible. But I had like pattern recognition to the point of, where I was offered to be in a gifted program, like all this stuff. So, my point is, I never asked for that. It just that I'm in that frequency because obviously I'm like meant to, right? So who the F chooses that? But then there's a thing that I find now of like, for instance, like yeah, when it's hard to explain, it's very subtle. Like when I'm, let's say, writing the next book,
Hmm.
it's like I'll be sitting here and I'll get like this happened the other day. I'll get like a word like I think it was the word like Romania or something. And this is like when something takes over me. All of a sudden, I'm Googling Romania, and then somehow I found stuff on like cold plasma and how they worked with consciousness in cold plasma in the 1950s or 60s, and they called it psychotronics. Um, and like I had all this information flood in, like, and I've had the same with math equations with like Einstein's equations and how it can be applied to consciousness. I wrote about that in this book, actually. I just didn't go too far into it because I wanted things to be understandable, but I'll get equations too. That's like my Hellenic Metadynamics book. My point is, all I have to do is listen to the first little seed, and then something takes me over. So I wonder if this happened with a guy from India, Srinivasa Ramanjuan, I think is how you say his name was.
Ramanju, yeah.
Because it's the same though. It feels like the stars because it's like this fifth dimensional seed, and then it just grows in me, and I kind of let it take me over. Yeah.
Wow. Jeez, I'm talking to like a real genius here.
I think as I said,
Um,
I think we all can do it. I think it's just what you said, frequencies. Like my purpose, obviously, if I'm working with plasmas and systems in the world, it's going to be like I need to tap into that math frequency. To
mm.
you, it's comedy and
No,
acting
it's parallel parking.
or parallel parking.
That's what I'm good at.
Well, I'm sure it's both. Why don't you since we're talking about confidence, let's all like accept our genius. Like you even said when you're on stage, you feel like it's something else, it takes you over. It's probably what Beyonce says when she feels like that
Mm,
what Sasha Fierce takes over. Like I think people just don't understand it's the multidimensional self and it takes you over. And it's not even an alter ego. People there's the separation there. You have to have love for yourself and understand it's you. It's you allowing.
yeah. I just wish I could do it every time.
But you can't. See, that's the thing. When I try, by the way, like if this interview, if I had prepared for this, it would have sucked. Because when I try to write my book or when I try to go on a flow,
Hmm.
it's just the same as you said when you're expecting versus the anxiety thing. It doesn't work. So you almost have to expect it. And then there's a surrender. That's what I write in my book. It's a feedback system.
Mm,
I always think every time I have a great idea, I think I'm never going to get another one. That's just a human fear. You have to expect that ideas are always going to come at the right time and then put yourself in a receptive state. So every morning I meditate, and some days when I know I have free time, I'm like, I'm going to listen to the voice that comes through. And then, I'll listen to a small voice. And then sometimes it just fucking takes a hold of me and it like possesses my entire day and I can't control that. So there are different ways. So what you can control, which I say in my book, you can, once again, you can control your resonance, you can control your receptive state, but you can't control the mystery.
yeah, and probably why would you, I
Why
guess.
would you want it? It wouldn't be fun.
You know, it would
We'd
be
get so
like
bored.
that's so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. So you just got to have good nights on stage and bad nights and accept that maybe the good nights are there when there's like a casting person there or when someone who's, mom just died really needs to hear you. Maybe
But
when you suck, no one good's in the audience and you don't need to do good, so it doesn't need to be there.
well, I mean, let me be like, it's not that it sucks.
Yeah.
It's just that there's good and then there's
Not
great.
totally. Yeah.
And so I want once you hit that great,
Yeah. Yeah. You want to be there all the
I
time.
was like, wow, I want to go back to that. Like,
So
yeah,
never
it was
chase that.
good. Yeah.
So never ch that's what addiction is. So that's an archetype addiction models. It's
Um,
called chasing the dragon. So that's like our original wound of chasing the dragon is chasing source. It's chasing spirit, thinking that it always abandons us. It's just like how praying doesn't work. What you have to know is that you're always tapped in. You have to be in resonance and allow. And yes, with practice, I think you can allow more and more and have those great times more and more and more. And there's always going to be human error. But once again, it's like just not letting yourself be shamed that you didn't prepare or work enough for the greatness. It's more like you just weren't in resonance. And there's so many different factors, and that again is a mystery. So I would say like to you and to anyone, like let's just say for you to get yourself, like let's just say you want to be the best comedian ever and have the best night every night. Before you go in, do what like makes you the most fun and out of your head, whether it's playing Mario Kart or playing The Sims or yoga or eating a hot dog. For me, it's like going to Great Adventure or Six Flags or Universal. Like do something to get out of here, anything out of your logic, and then you will be greatness every time.
yeah.
And have no pressure, no attachment. You can't worry about doing great. That's the other part that trips you up. You cannot expect any outcome because that tethers you to the outcome, which makes it deterministic. And once again, then we're in the fourth dimensional information space where the idea can't come through. So once you untether from the future potential, that's when you can grow and anything
Yeah.
can come through.
Yeah, it's like doing comedy is like making love. Like you can't be in your head about it. If you're in your head, you're like, ah, this is not gonna go well, you know.
Yes. Yes.
You know.
That's a great one.
No,
Yeah.
no, I mean it's a odd metaphor, but it's like
Well, it's once again, it's about letting your body intelligence, or what I call plasma intelligence, take over. It's letting your energy body or your multidimensional self. That's why, once again, matte black magic is taking this over. But when people talk about sex magic, they have turned it into this thing where it's like all about that. And it's like that actually comes from plasma magic. And you can also do it with yourself. But the real magic has nothing to even do with that. It's just creation magic, it's just
right.
self-expression. And that's one form of it.
Yeah, perfecto.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, hey, it's part of being human, and that's why you should choose a partner that you really love and trust because that's when things, and I mean, I haven't even experienced this fully, but like when you really find your soulmate, because I've read this in books, but I've also talked to people, you really like that connection, like that's when you can have that kind of magic, love or sex magic where you go into other worlds together in
Mm,
that space. And there's a book about it by this guy named Tom Kenyon. I'll just say it if people are interested right now, really quick. Tom Kenyon, Mary Magdalene. So there's the closest book to being a good book about it, and I would always caution people to do their own research, is called the Magdalene Manuscript, The Alchemies of Horus and Sex Magic of Isis. If they're interested in what I'm saying, I don't even know what I'm saying because I'm not saying I've tried it, but I do. That is a very highly recommended book. I'm
mm.
still waiting for my soulmate. He's probably in Portland. I'll be there soon.
Well, if you're, hopefully it's gonna be in the same place you are gonna be.
Well, you never know because I'm sure this is with acting too, like in traveling. when you do travel a lot, or if I step into my greatness, I'm doing book signings, traveling the world, talking about plasma, I might meet someone in conferences or on my travels who doesn't live there.
Mm,
So, maybe I'll meet someone who's
that's
resonant
true.
with my stuff, like, a scientist who's open-minded or engineer, or, maybe I'll meet who knows, but maybe they won't be important, but I kind of hope they are.
That's honest. Well, they'll be important to you, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think I'm curious about you, but like it's very important for me to like quality time. Time is more important than money, and time saying you can't get back. And why be in love and have a family if you're not going to spend time? So, like, it's good to be around. Like, no matter how much I want to achieve this plasma stuff, if I'm not enjoying my own friends or family, what is all this for? Am I just
Yeah.
living for everyone else?
Yeah.
And many of us are lonely because we put the success on a pedestal, and then we come home and we're like, where is everyone? And I've been in that way even now. That's why it's so important to me to change my life. Yeah,
Balance. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Dana Kipple.
Yes, we can finish now.
No, no, it's like it's great. It's all great, but I want you to say the book again. You know,
Oh, A New Force, Plasma Consciousness, and the New Human Potential. DanaKipple.com has all the links.
thank you so much, Dana. Thank you for. I appreciate you taking the time because
Mhm.
mentioned giving someone your time. That's like one of the most best gifts you can do.
Yes, it is.
And
Yes. So that's a compliment to you as well. But obviously I had resonance with you. So I'm sure you already know this, I know, but you're putting out a great resonance.
oh, thank you.
I'm bad at giving compliments, so I make this like weird smile because I'm like neurodivergent, but I'm serious.
No, that didn't sound bad.
I know, but I'm just all like, okay.
Thank you so much. And stop, drop, and roll, everybody. Tell people to stop, drop, and roll.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Well, it's
You
roll.
are on fire. Oh, oops.
They can roll too. They can stop, drop, and roll.
Oh my God, I'm sorry, guys.
No, no.
Stop, drop, and roll.
There you go.